Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the ASL Season 20. We're ready for Group C today. 3 back-to-back ASL days in a row, Xun. We've had a hell of a week so far, and we're ready to wrap it up here with this awesome group. We've got Mini, Soma, Saber, and Ssak. We're going to be going head-to-head here in the best of ones of the round of 24. It's been crazy so far, but our predictions have been pretty spot on. Who are you thinking for this week going through?
Oh man, I mean, it's got to be Mini and Soma, right? Like, it is what it is. Like, I just think Mini and Soma are in a league of their own compared to some of these other guys. Sark, he is a bit of a step above Saber, so maybe he has a little bit of a puncher's chance here today, but I just don't see it. I'm not really a big fan of Sark. He hasn't been impressing me in his online tournament showings, and yeah, sometimes I wonder if he typoed his name and that A should be a U. It's really been bad in recent times. I don't know if he's got his act together. To be fair, he was the guy that eliminated Zhao Shui in the semifinals, then but got knocked down by Hero in the finals. So he had to qualify in day two, beating Gamer and then Shuttle. So he's not been playing too bad. He's been beating a few good players, and that's actually pointing out to me there was 3 Chinese players that almost broke through into finals matches here in the ASL. That's kind of crazy saying there's 3 guys then that are non-Korean that are almost coming close to getting into this tournament. What do you think about that?
That is extremely impressive. And look, we've got a fresh face here on stage. Saber, his first time in ASL. He made it through
Yeah.
the ACS this season against some very tough opponents, mostly ZVZ, actually all ZVZ opponents though. HM, and who else did he take
Right.
out?
Sue, yeah. So basically, AS Season 2, that's an amateur tournament used to help get at least one of these lower ranked guys into the ASL. So he beat Sue and then HM, both of those ZVZs, to be here today, which might help him out a little bit against Soma. But I don't think he can take down Mini in game number 1, which will be our appetizer match of the evening, Sam.
Yeah, I'm of course leaning the same direction as you. Soma here on screen now. He is back from the military. He was utterly dominant when he went away. Very common to see him in the round of 8 and the round of 4, and just absolutely smashing through these lower brackets. And I don't think this is going to be any different. He has been practicing off stream and out of the public eye for the last couple of years here. And so I'm excited to see what he's going to bring today.
Yeah, basically Soma SmackDown movie in the semis and then YSC in the finals without breaking a sweat. So his EVP is probably in pretty good shape right now. I'm not so sure about his other matchups. We've been having him in the lineup of KCM quite a few times, but he's not actually had the chance to play. Individuals like Jaedong just dominating too much in the KCM recently. So we haven't seen enough from Soma to know exactly where his power level sits. And just to quickly go back also to talk about Mini's performance in those qualifier matches, he took down quickly in the semifinals in a Protoss versus Protoss. Then he knocked out Lava in his day 1 qualifiers, forcing him to try again in day number 2. But luckily, that guy has made it through and is already in the round of 16, saying, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I doubt we're going to see a ZVZ today, Xun. It's possible if Mini manages to beat Soma and Saber manages to beat Ssak in the losers match. We might have a finals match ZVZ, which could be kind of crazy. Saber did beat Sue and of course HM. HM is a very strong player. Sue is that StarCraft 2 player who's been making a bit of a splash and trying to break into the scene here. But yeah, ZVZ is just so chaotic. There's a chance that Soma actually gets knocked out here, although I think it's a slim one.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a possibility which we have to consider. And Saber did win both of his ZVZs to qualify. So you have to really consider that that is a real threat here for Soma as well. It's been a long time since we've seen him here in the ASL. At the end of the last time was ASL season 16, which was 2 years ago, 2023. I think he got through to the round of 16 and got eliminated. So it's been a little bit of time since we've seen him here on this stage, but he's such a strong contender. Like, overall, he's a really scary player, and I don't think he's going to go super deep in this tournament, but I think just having him around is going to be a lot of fun.
You mean Soma? You were talking about Soma there?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Soma, yeah.
Yeah, having Soma in this tournament is really making me happy right now. I miss this guy. He was so much fun to watch. He's such an aggressive player. He has a lot of finesse when it comes to his mutalist play. And he is one of those guys that we're looking to actually take on players like Sulky, utilizing that ZVZ, kind of Sulky's weaker matchup, and it's really the most volatile matchup of all. So if we see him,
Yeah.
match up with Sulky, he's one of those guys that we might see take him out.
Yeah, a mini there on the left that was just speaking a moment ago. He didn't actually get into the ASL season 20, so he's had a little bit of a stopgap between these seasons and probably is looking to reestablish himself in this scene. I think he got knocked out in the round of 16 in the previous tournament as well. Oh, my bad. No, he was in the last tournament. I'm totally wrong. He was in the last one. He got knocked out in the round of 16 in the last tournament. My bad.
Right, ASL 19 got knocked out in the round of 16. That's rough. A lot of great players got knocked out in the round of 16, though. It was a tough season, man. What an insane season last, or in the spring here. It was so much fun, Xun, and I'm really excited to keep going deeper here. We've got to get through this round of 24 first, though, guys. It's just such a volatile situation we have. I really don't know who's going to come out on top, but I'm leaning, of course, towards Soma and Mini.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, saying I just don't think Ssak and Saber can hold a candle to these other two gamers. Looks like interview will be over now, and players will start making their way to the booth to start setting up their keyboards and aligning their desks to the universe so they can perform at their absolute apex of their gameplay. This is going to be super exciting to finally get some really high level games from these gamers, especially Soma. We're not going to see him just yet. It's going to be Mini versus Saber here in match number 1. I don't think Saber has got a snowball's chance in hell against Mini.
Oh, yeah. Mini is so incredibly strong. He is one of those frustrating Protoss players. He's like that guy who would be absolutely a nightmare to play against. He has such good timings when it comes to Zealot and, of course, DT attacks. Sometimes you're looking at the plays that he's pulling out, like, this really works. You can make 4 DTs here and just kill him. Yeah, well, Mini figured that out a long time ago, and he's been beating the best players in the world with some really wacky plays.
Yeah, now he is a very emotional player. We used to talk back in the day, either you're like a more mechanic orientated player or an emotional orientated player. And there's strengths and weaknesses to that. When he's on a come up and he's feeling good and he's got the wind at his back, he seems almost unstoppable. But when things don't quite go his way and, a few wrenches are thrown into his cog work, he can fall off and really tilt his brains out and play pretty awfully. So we'll have to see what kind of Mini we get here today. If he is laser focused and doesn't let anything disrupt his mind game, though, he's a really scary contender.
Yeah, he is one of those guys you just can never figure out exactly what he's going to do. He has a very wide range, and he's not afraid to put it all on the line for a stinky cheese or a 2-gate in the middle of the map, going for cannon rush. He will try everything in a long series, but what will he do in a best of 1 here when he knows that he's better than his opponent? Is he just going to play completely straight up? And will Saber be able to handle that type of play? I feel like Mini's the type of guy who could just rip Saber apart with a few early Zealots, just killing a couple of drones here and there. His multitasking and control with those early units is so devastating.
Oh, absolutely. And Saber is a pretty strong macro player, so you don't really want to just let him sit back and do his thing. Who knows, though? Maybe Saber's thinking differently. Maybe he's thinking, I don't have much of a chance here against Mini. So maybe a 9-7-3, some kind of bust timing might be the way to go as well. Both players could end up playing aggressive here, but I'm not necessarily expecting that. I'm expecting Mini to put on a lot of pressure with some timings in the early game to disrupt the macro ebb and flow of Saber.
Yeah, I'm expecting a gateway first here out of Mini and just putting on that pressure. Maybe Saber has a plan in mind for that. Maybe he goes for 9 pool early, Lings and just tries to, you know, get in there and deal some early damage. It's just, I don't think he can keep up with the multitasking of Mini. He's so good at holding off those early aggressive plays. Even if he wants to do some sort of cheese, Mini may be able to just dismantle it with very good early game control.
Absolutely. He's really good in those low economy and especially weird situations. A lot of these players, like we saw TY Baby yesterday, fall apart when he came off the rails and had to make decisions on the fly rather than just following his game plan. Mini's not that kind of guy, actually. He can navigate the weirdest of situations. We had such crazy funny games in the KCM involving him. Do you remember that game against Light, for example, where neither player was even mining and it was just a battle of the wits and utilizing a Reaver and a shuttle and a couple of other Dragoons in the Reaver and some tanks on the logo. Crazy stuff here. But I think both players are going to be ready soon, so we won't talk too much about those previous games.
Yeah, I mean, Mini, he is so good on his feet when things get crazy. He loves to add that little element of chaos and try to put his opponent on the back foot, make him react to what his game plan is. And his game plan could be something completely unorthodox, and you just have to figure out a way to deal with it. Mini, he's here looking good, looking healthy, not like JYJ in our previous groups. I remember that guy. He was looking really pale, wasn't he, Shun?
Oh, he was looking sick like a dog, saying, I hope he's feeling better. Like, I don't even like JYJ that much, and I was feeling really bad for him and hoping that whatever it is, he can get it sorted out, saying he did not look well at all. And uncharacteristically, didn't even wear a mask. Usually he wears a mask to these events, which was very strange. Here's Saber trying to calm his nerves. He hasn't had much opportunity to get on the live stage and actually be in an event like this, so he's probably contending with more than just his game plan and his execution right now. He needs to just calm himself and try and put himself into some kind of flow state where he's playing similarly to how he would back at home. That's going to be tough against someone who's been on the stage as much as Mini, though. This is going to get crazy really quickly.
Yeah, you got to remember to breathe in situations like this. You can't be holding your breath, and you got to keep that airflow going. Make sure that you're making the right decisions and keeping a level head. We'll see if Saber's able to keep up with Mini here momentarily. We're about to get this game started, the opening game for the round of C. The Group C, excuse me. Let's get it going.
Yeah. Here we go, guys. The ASL Season 20 Group C first match of the evening. It's Mini versus Saber on Dominator. Let's get it started, guys.
Mini spawning in bottom left. Saber here in the top left. I mean, he looks a little bit nervous, I have to say. Mini completely relaxed in his normal, totally hunched over posture there. I think Mini has probably the worst posture out of all the pro gamers here in ASL, but I mean, he is just like in his element, I think, when he's on stage these days. He's been here so many times before.
Yeah, with those nails of his, he's essentially just a Wolverine, like a wild animal. Really crazy what this guy's able to do, and looks so calm while doing it as well. But that's the thing with these guys. They've showed up to the ASL enough times that it's essentially another day at the office in terms of their nerve setting. Whereas Saber, he will be rattling like a saber before a war right now as he tries to calm himself down. This is definitely foreign territory for him, and he needs to just, steel his nerve and, find his resolve.
He's got a tough opponent here for his first game in the ASL. Mini is not the guy you want to go up against in your very inaugural experience here. He is going to pull you apart, and an overpool build from Saber. He's opening with a very just a normal kind of macro style orthodox opener here. We'll see if he's able to hold everything together as Mini begins harassing with this probe.
Yeah, I like how Saber is actually trying to hide this first Overlord. That was so in case Mini didn't first scout him, he wouldn't know that this was going to be an overpull into expansion. If they see this Overlord with that probe scout, they can just stay in the natural and block, and they don't need to come into the main base to check for a 9 pull there. So even though it didn't pay off and allow him to get this hatchery down, which is being blocked so efficiently by Mini, I do like that Saber has that in his wheelhouse, but this is a problem, saying he's going to pylon block this for Saber to expand over here to this natural third location on the right hand side, and this is a gateway first, so having your first hatchery this far away from your main base is suboptimal to say the least.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate Saber didn't send 2 drones. You can send 1 drone over to the third and have the other one trying to plant at the natural. Then when you get the 300 minerals, just drop the third immediately. Instead, he's just going to build a bunch of lings here and get the natural at kind of a suboptimal time here on 15. He does have a lot of lings to kind of push back this first zealot, so he's not going to get fully overwhelmed here right off the bat, but already Mini taking a little bit of momentum in this game and forcing Saber to play by his rules.
Yeah, he's going to get away with a little bit of greed, just throwing down that Nexus right away, not like really taking any precautions and worried about Saber flooding links. He knows that Saber's going to be mostly defensive, at least for quite some time, so he's going to delay making that forge for as long as possible, squeeze out as many drones and probes and units as he can. Needs to be careful that he doesn't allow Saber to get surround on these Zealots, though. Pretty good surround thus far from Saber. Mini, though, does micro back those. Oh, he catches one, Saiyan. That's a really good catch on that of the Zealot, taking it down to almost no HP. Other one does manage to find a hidey hole in the back of those mineral lines to save himself, but needs to be careful, does Mini. He's delayed his forge for a long time. He can't afford to throw away Zealots for free.
Ooh, I mean, Saber takes this kind of a poor fight here at the end. Oh, just barely beats that Zealot. A lot of those lings were badly damaged and were getting taken down. One shot there by Mini, and he's managed to find just the perfect hidey hole back here. Of course, Mini knows exactly how to turn the screw when it comes to putting on this early pressure with Zealots.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Can he actually get 2 lings surface area on that? I'm not even sure if he can. Like, that's crazy. That's a good spot there Mini has been able to establish based on how the Zealot is positioned. It's going to be a 3-base spire play from Saber here. He'll be teching very traditionally, like his opening overpull, very standard stuff here. Nothing too crazy and out of the ordinary. It's exactly what we expected from Saber, a more macro-centric play just to get his mid-game underway and hopefully squeeze out as much economy as possible. He's done a pretty good job of killing these initial Zealots as well, so he might be able to get away with a tiny bit of greed, squeezing out extra drones.
Yeah, he can see that all the Zealots are staying back home here. Mini wants to get out and see how many lings have been made and how many drones are popping out here, so maybe he can come across the map for a punish. Just going to be sending in the probe now. You should see only a few lings here and maybe looking towards that quick punish. Not going to send out anything. Yeah, okay, he sees the 4 lings. Looks like he's ready to send at least 1 Zealot. He's going to try and slip it through a hole in the vision. Doesn't seem like he can get it out of here without Saber picking up on that.
Yeah, without a second cannon, it feels kind of awkward to try and push out with these Zealots, which is why Mini's doing what he's doing. He knows there's ling speed. He knows there's a possibility of lings just being flooded right now, not only gobbling up those Zealots, but also going for a run by and jumping on top of that cannon. You only really move out with the Zealots if you have 2 cannons, once you know that there's this threat of a mass flood of speedlings that could be coming your way. So that will give a lot of oxygen and breathing room now to Saber to macro up heavily, squeeze out those macro hatcheries and drones. He does throw down a second gas as well as a Hydra Den over at the 3rd base. I'm curious, is he going to set himself up for a potential Ogre Gamer move, get a lot of Scourge and Mutalisk to put on a bit of pressure here to Mini with that early second gas or not?
Oh my god, he gets back into that corner. You gotta be kidding me. Those lings have speed as well, and he still wasn't able to cut that off and eliminate it before it manages to get behind the mineral patch there, and he'll have to pay attention to that non-stop unless he wants to set up some sort of like little containment on that Zealot. Otherwise, it could potentially pop out, just get a kill on a drone, and then go back into that hidey hole again. So that's just another thorn in the side here for Saber, who's about to be getting into some Mutalisk. Eventually, he will clean that up with Mutas, and should be able to get some Scourge out here as well. Oh, second Stargate. Oh, gosh.
Ooh.
Mini going
Well,
for double
he is
Stargate.
He is only mining 2 on gas at this natural gas, so I don't think he's going to go full-on crazy committal just yet. I think he realizes with the Zealot position behind the minerals and keeping an eye on that gas, if he was to mine 3 on gas right now, that would be sending signals to Mini. But it seems like Mini thinks he's going for it anyway with this second Stargate. So we'll have to wait and see if Saber wants to throw down a third miner on this gas geyser or not. It might just be like, 5 or so Mutalisks to put on pressure, snipe some probes, while the Scourge do the heavy lifting, zoning out the Corsairs, and just trying to get some kind of air control seized away from Mini.
I think this is a pretty good spot for Saber. He threw down the Hydralisk Den at the third base that was not spotted by Mini. Mini doesn't really know about that right now. Right. And so sudden Hydralisk wave could actually throw him way off. He's going to see the Hydras pop out right now, and I don't think that Mini's going to be too happy about that while he's sitting here building double Stargate Corsair. Can Saber see that second Stargate? Very important information.
This is really nice build from Saber. There's a build like this that I used to do back in the day, which was like 2 hatch fake Muta into 4 hatch Hydra. This is a kind of similar way of thinking as that, except with much more economy behind it. So this is not really an aggressive all-in timing. This is more like, I'm going to have a strong macro game behind this, and I'm going to force you to overcommit into defending against the Mutalisk play, while really I'm going to be putting on so much pressure with these Hydras. He has the Overlord speed as well to deny Dark Templars from being a defensive factor here. Mini is trying to intercept those Overlords with these Corsair fleets sharking around the map. There's not actually a lot of Scourge right now to deny this, and so he will be supply block saying.
Oh no, these Overlords. Oh, Saber, he's gonna find them. Oh no, Saber. He was trying to hide these Overlords in a spot where Mini wasn't gonna look, and he manages to find every single one of them. This is kind of a cheeky play from Saber. He wanted to just hide the Overlords so that there wouldn't be a good option for counterattacking from Mini, and then he could try to like bust the natural or something like that. But now that he's lost all these Overlords, he just can't produce, and there's no way he's busting through here.
I mean, he probably won't bust through, but that Templar Archives is starting at 9 minutes 10 seconds, so Storm is a long way away. Zealot's pressuring into the natural as well, catches that 100. He has got some more forces, though, showing up into the natural. Does Saber have enough to break through? There's not that many Zealots here to buffer. He's going to try and pounce on top of these cannons now, but there might be just enough threshold of Zealots to buy some time. He needs to probably drill his probes, but look at these Zealots ravaging the drone line in the middle. It's absolutely pandemonium here. 2 sides being microed on simultaneously. The probes come off the line. Brilliant drill from Mini to completely shut down this bust attempt. Saber having a hard time keeping up with the multitasking ability of Mini, losing so many drones, Sen.
Yeah, this is this is just Mini. He hits you with this counterattack. I mean, he gets a little bit lucky here finding those Overlords. I tell you, it would have been much different had those Overlords not been killed. He was trying desperately to just hide those out on the map. He could have sat back at home with a bunch of Hydras underneath the Overlords, and they would have been completely safe. But he wanted to get aggressive, and so he was trying to hide the Overlords out on the map. He just didn't send them far enough, and so Mini manages to get all those kills. He forces a lot more Overlords to be made, and that leaves a gap for those Zealots to slip in.
Oh man, I mean, Saber had a kind of a nice idea here with what he wanted to attempt to do. But yeah, losing the Overlords like that has led to absolute disaster. He could not macro up additional units that would have usually been there in the rally point location to stop those Zealots just completely decimating him. But that supply block just proved too much to handle for Saber. Now he really is rattled, and Mini so far ahead in this game, saying almost doubling his supply, not quite, but does have a bit of a Zealot Dark Templar threat now making its way to this third base location. There's just barely enough Hydras to ward that away. Can Saber recover and squeeze out the economy that he needs to surge forward into this later of this mid-game phase? Now there's no timing for him. He's going to just pounce on these Hydras charges from the left, actually. Stop them from retreating back to the safety of his own rally point. DT's Warp Blade cutting through those drones like butter as well. Good drone drill, denying too much connections on that, but he's still killing probes. The Dark Templar hasn't fallen. So many drones are falling yet again, saying this is just crippling damage to Saber.
Oh, he doesn't kill the DT. How much health on that? 14. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Saber right now, but this is just, yeah, this is what happens when you put a first-time ASL player up against Mini. Absolute god-tier PvZ ASL former champion. He does not look impressed at all. He stares down his nose at Saber as he just walks directly over top of him.
Yeah, he's almost like disappointed that this is his opponent. It's kind of insane. Like Mini was maybe hoping for a better warm-up game, and that's got to feel bad as Saber. Like, I couldn't even give this guy that good of a game. I just fell apart. He does look like he's struggling to contain his nerves just a little bit here in the booth, but it's not over yet. He will have another chance in that losers match. We got Ssak versus Soma coming up next. Whoever loses between those two will be facing off against Saber, and the winner against Mini in the winners match as well, saying that's going to be coming up soon.
I mean, that performance made me think of that line from 1984. Just imagine the future, a boot smashing into a human face over for eternity. That was a Protoss just walking directly over top of a Zerg player. Exactly as anticipated, man. Mini already in the final match. Soma versus Ssak. It might be actually that one-sided as well. I like some of Sak's ideas. I like some of his plays, but I don't think he can stand up to Soma here. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we get back, that second matchup is coming right up. All right, guys, it's time to watch that match with Soma. I'm so excited to see his form today. We've seen little bits and bites here and there, but he's just recently made it back from the military, and wasn't able to do any streaming or events during his time there. It's been such a long hiatus, but he is back, and I've heard his form is looking very, very good.
Right. I mean, I've heard good things about him. I've seen a little bit. Like when he first came back, he just actually started smashing Flash game after game. He was one of the first guys that I've seen make Flash genuinely annoyed. Like Flash just didn't seem to have anything that he could do against him. And a lot of the times it was just like him catching Flash with these really aggressive 2-base timings in ZVT. And who knows? Maybe he's going to be playing super aggressive here today as well. He's such a solid Zerg, though. He's like one of the kind of guys that could get like a 60% win rate in all matchups occasionally. Like he's that solid of a play. He doesn't really have too many weaknesses as well. Obviously, anything can happen in the Zerg versus Zerg. So if he does fall here against Ssak somehow, Sak's a technical player, could see some kind of 1-1-1 into Valkyrie play or mech switch. Who knows? Definitely anything could happen here. It's like a kind of like a boxing match, and you always have that puncher's chance. But I just think Soma's going to eat him alive, man.
There's a very good chance that happens. We might see, a 2-base play from Soma, just bringing out the mutas and pulling Ssak apart. That's one of Sak's biggest weaknesses is his Marine Medic play. And, if he wants to go Marine Medic here, he doesn't go for some sort of 1-1-1 or... I think that would be a mistake, actually. If Ssak doesn't go 1-1-1 here, I think that he's just going to get absolutely blasted. His 1-1-1 is not that bad, though. 1-1-1, guys, is 1 barracks, 1 factory, and then 1 starport. You end up getting a Wraith and a Vulture, and you have a little bit more tech to work with. You can snipe some Overlords, and you can do a few things to harass your opponent. But if you just go straight up MM... and everything is kind of going along a normal game trajectory, I think that Soma just knows that too well. He's too strong with that mutalist play.
And you can flood links to destroy 1-1-1. It's a very flimsy style of play. Not many units available to defend. And that's one of the reasons why Flash stopped using it back in his era of dominance, because he couldn't quite break beyond 70% win rate with it. Looks like some good spirits here on Ssak, chewing some gum, flashing a toothy grin. Maybe he's not feeling too unnerved by the fact that he's going to be playing up against Soma right now.
Yeah, we'll see if that smile remains at the end of this game, guys. Soma getting a little bit of a cheeky smile going, too. Looks like they're chatting back and forth here before the game starts. Not allowed to talk during the game, but in the lobby, no problem.
Both players are ready, though, guys. We're jumping into our second game of the evening. ASL Season 20 Group C. It's Soma versus Ssak on Dominator. Let's get it started.
I guess there was some chat still up on screen when they were getting into the game there. Some of the audience members laughing at what these players were saying back and forth to each other. We got Soma in the center right, Ssak over here in the top left. And guys, as we're getting into this game, just want to mention that we do have a Patreon page for myself and Xun. We also cast the SCSL and KCM together, and we've been working together for a very long time. We have a lot of fun doing all of those casts, and so if you guys want to support us or just get some information about where we're going to be casting, we're going to use that as a resource, as a place you guys can go, join up, support us, and also get some good information about our future casts. So go check it out. It's Saiyan Xun Duo Casts on Patreon.
Yeah, that's SAIYANXUN. Just scroll down on the search bar, you'll find it, guys. Really appreciate all of your support. It's been fantastic. Even if you do just sign up for free, we really do appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be here for many years to come to bring you these great games of StarCraft. I love this game so much. I have no intention of going anywhere.
Look at this Overlord scout from Soma, sending the Overlord directly to the middle. A little bit of a funny scout path there. Maybe. But if there's a BBS, can you actually get the Overlord? I guess you can put it over one of these high grounds around the center.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a funny Overlord scout from Soma. Usually if you're really worried about some sort of BBS in the middle, you're just going to trick out an extra drone and send it to the center. Just use a gas
he might have
rig.
it. I was gonna say, he might have it mapped out where, I mean, it's not that long of a rush distance to get this Overlord on this horizontal line to that center. He might have it mapped out where he can scout without having to drone scout, so he can be a little bit greedy and optimized with his build order choice here. Like, he wants to go for a hatchery first, but if he quickly sees the edge of that barracks, he can just, you know, make a pool instead of a hatchery here. So I think it's quite well mapped out, and as long as you're careful with that Overlord scouting, if you kind of hide it behind the wall as you're coming in, he might not actually see the Overlord with the barracks.
Yeah, that might be true, actually. And also, you know what? This Overlord path means that he's going to get over the high ground in the bottom left, and he's going to have an Overlord over the high ground in the top center. I might actually try this Overlord pattern. This is pretty sweet. I haven't seen this before, and it seems like Soma has something. He's working on something. He's got an idea here, and it seems to be working out. I like it.
Well, a forward 8 racks outside the natural rally, or maybe a 10 racks, could potentially punish it if they scout it going into this position on the left-hand side. But I think as long as you're careful with it and you're on top of your scouting and you read the game correctly and respond accordingly, I think you might be safe to do this. This might be an actual genius move, Overlord scouting pattern that we're seeing right now.
Oh yeah, he's just barely going to make it over the natural, but he will make it up there. Has kind of perfect vision now, no matter which spawn location Ssak happened to get. Ssak gets the second to worst, or I guess the second best. Depends on if you're a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of Terran player. Spawn location over here at the top left-hand corner. His gas is a little bit exposed, but it is on the far side, very far away from where Soma his base and his rallies are going to be coming from. So he should be able to deal without too much trouble. And also, it looks like he's going for a 1-on-1, so that might not even become a factor here in this game.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a tactile play from Ssak that we were expecting as well. We expected him to do something like this here. And he's got the wall in as well. That will protect you against any kind of Ling flood potential, at least somewhat. There is still going to be a gap that you have to plug up and be safe with. I doubt Soma's going to flood Lings here. I think it's just going to be a 2-base Mutalisk play going forward. And, ooh, very quick machine shop as well from Ssak. So he might be thinking about Vulture speed or something right off the bat, and maybe even a Vulture drop. It is possible. I don't necessarily think he'll go for the Vulture drop, but he definitely looks like he wants to do a Vulture speed run by or something.
We'll see if Soma is prepared for this type of play. We've got the armory on the way, and so there is going to be a Valkyrie follow-up here to deal with the potential Mutalisk coming his way. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a Vulture play. This is a very strong way to try and deal damage right as the Mutalisks are popping out. You can send the Vultures across. As the Mutas are coming over towards your base, you send the Vultures in and just run right past the sunken colony. It forces the Mutas to turn around. It just buys you a bunch of time. You can get some drone kills. If the Mutas don't turn around, you get even more drone kills. But if they do turn around, you have more time to build up more Valkyries and just get a better defensive setup. It's a really solid way to open here. And we'll see if Soma's able to block this correctly. He's got a third hatchery at the natural. If he throws down a couple more buildings, he can completely block this off. But it's up to him whether he wants to take that or wants to pay for that, because it is expensive, you know, putting down these drones, losing that mining time and spending all those resources on extra buildings.
Yeah, if you know it's coming, you can temporarily make an Evo chamber and then cancel it, but that's very difficult to identify exactly what the Terran's intentions are before it's already too late. He could maybe see the Vulture speed right now with these Mutalisks, but Stark's done a good job of hiding that from him. He's actually going to rotate down to this third base just before he can throw down the hatchery. He doesn't actually snipe the drone. He hesitated checking that. I think he may have killed the drone if he had done a good target firing with both. The drone does recharge HP instantly, but if you synchronize those fragmentation grenade connections, you can still he'll kill it instantly like that. Lots of turrets being made, and a Valkyrie now coming out. He has to be careful not to let this first 2 Valkyries get sniped by Soma. Sometimes Zergs will make a preemptive pair of Scourge to pounce on those right away. Seems like Soma hasn't sniffed that out just yet, so hasn't elected to get a pair of Scourge for the time being. There's the first 2 pairs now, hoping to snipe those 2 first Valkyries, which are essentially gold dust at this stage in the game.
Yeah, Soma wasn't totally aware of the follow-up initially, and so he didn't build a bunch of Scourge here. He knew that there were vultures out there, and he needed to escort that drone over, and now taking a lot of damage here on the mutas. My god, those are 2 great volleys here from Ssak. He's definitely going to lose one of these Valkyries, but he got, what, 4 shots off with these Valks? That's so much damage. He needs to keep this second Valkyrie alive, though. Oh my gosh, he loses it.
Oh, that's crazy. Soma's in such a good position right now. Sakk's in trouble. Loses the 3rd Valkyrie to boot. Oh my gosh, Soma. He is going to be denying some of this lava at the 3rd base with some mines and vultures, killing those before they can morph into eggs. The eggs are too difficult for the vultures to kill, but the mines can. And as long as you're shooting the lava as well, that prevents a little bit of production from the Zerg. But Soma doesn't worry about that. He's got 3 macro hatcheries that are safe. That's enough to produce what he needs to. And killing those first, he can't even get out there. Oh man, that's rough for Ssak. He's not having a good day at all. His Sim City kind of falling flat on its face a little bit, not so well planned as such as Soma's. And yeah, losing those first 3 Valkyries puts Soma in such an advantageous position going forward.
Yeah, it was a bit of an overextension for Ssak, to say the least. He didn't need to dive in and try to, you know, get these kills. Oh my god, another one goes down. You have to allow the Valkyrie count to grow a bit. He had, you know, 3-4 turrets in this main. There was no reason he had to go in with the 2 Valkyries in order to get that damage going. I mean, he came in, he did the slide micros, just not enough. Soma fully commits, kills the Valkyries, and now he's got so much momentum on his side. He's going to be going directly into Hive, and whatever follow-up Ssak is going for here, whether that be, you know, a whole bunch of Marines and switching into, you know, like a tank push or something like that, Soma's going to be ready. He's going to have all the parts necessary, but you know what? Okay, never mind. Mutas are here. Gets in, immediately shuts down this vulture. Soma on top of absolutely everything.
Well, so far, Soma has came, saw, and conquered the opening of Ssak, at least for the time being. He's trying to lick his wounds and play catch-up, but he's 10 supply, 12 supply behind Soma right now, and doesn't have a strong 9-10 minute timing to utilize to try and put Soma on the back foot, who's already transitioning into lurkers as well. It's going to be so tough for Ssak to come out onto the map and accomplish the goals he originally set out to do, and there is no smile on his face for sure, Sam.
Yeah, he's having a hard time right now. He almost loses another Valkyrie to that cheeky attack from Soma, but it manages to live. Hold position lurkers just randomly out here in the middle of the map. We'll see if those end up getting any connections. Looks like Vulture laying down mines. Is that mine actually going to be close enough? Oh no, it's not. Oh man, that would have been hilarious if the mine ended up connecting here. He actually clears the mine with the Ling, and somehow the Ling survives. That's crazy. He's walking into it. He's walking into it. Shouldn't. Oh!
It could be a lot worse, I guess, but those subterranean spines still ripping through 4 or so Marines there. He's transitioning into a more mech-centric play. Additional factories being established. Soma, though, already on an expansion warpath of his own, taking that 6 o'clock base now as his 4th. Even just crippling a little bit of these bio count is so devastating here for Ssak. He hasn't got that many tanks to launch an assault. He's got a small contingency of bio units making their way downtown to see if he can get maybe a tactical snipe on some of these units towards the 3rd base location. I'm not sure he's actually aware of that hatchery yet. He's going to dive into these Valkyries, though. Doesn't get the Scourge connection on that low HP Valkyrie, and does eliminate most of those bruised up Mutalisks, but now is bio getting caught out of position by that Lurker Ling, completely eviscerating any hopes that Ssak could have maybe come down here into that 6 o'clock pocket and take out this hatchery.
It looks like he's going to try to rotate around this army, though. Can he actually get down here? Maybe he can tuck himself into the corner and try, but no, the lurkers are just going to move forward. There's not enough Marines here to target down efficiently these lurkers, and even going to lose the vultures here as well. Switch into mech is the follow-up for Ssak, but switching into mech from a deficit like this, it's very, very difficult. He needs to get so much done with the vultures here. He needs to get in, get some drone kills, you know, have vultures with mines, you know, connect on some of these defilers and lurkers and really get some insane value if he wants to have any chance of this mech switch working.
Yeah, Soma's tech is fully operational, though, with those defilers waiting for that consumer upgrade to finish. Nidus Canal networks as well being set up here. And if Ssak can't slow down this 4 base, he's in trouble. He's got his own 3rd command center ready. So, the defiler has no energy to dock, so he might be decided that the fragmentation case does manage to take that down. Has some bioforces rotating around as well to try and support against those Scourge to prevent the Valkyries going down. One of them falling, has another to act as point defense. If he had a few more units down here, maybe get a tactical snipe on that 6 o'clock hatchery. I just don't think he's quite got enough units there. There is 2 lurkers positioned a bit lopsidedly on either side of that hatchery down there, so I don't think Sakk's going to have an easy time of eliminating that base, but he is trying to apply pressure where he can.
Yeah, he's applying some pressure, but I mean, he's not containing the Zerg player at all, which is what you kind of need to do. You're supposed to, as you're transitioning, oh my gosh, that was a great mine, but unfortunately not going to be able to kill any of these lurkers, and those lurkers will be able to recover here over time. This one going to have to burrow, but it does make it underground in time. Just nothing going right for Ssak, and yeah, you're supposed to have a little bit of a containment on the Zerg player with the initial bioforce to where the Zerg can't just walk out on the map freely, and he just does not have that here. Soma can go out as he wishes and kind of move around freely through the map, and I mean, he's got lurkers absolutely everywhere. He's going to be able to start pushing forward with defilers. You cannot allow defilers to make their way forward and drop Darkswarm on top of lurkers, because there's no way he can afford a radiate here, and there's no other way to deal with that type of play. He's just going to have to lift off whatever spot is being attacked by that defiler lurker combo.
Right, I think Soma's expecting some kind of drop play here from Ssak, but I don't think that will be occurring. I think he will instead try and set up a forward position with some siege tanks and try and slowly push and inch his way to applying pressure to the 6 o'clock location. I don't think this is a good play, though, from Ssak. He's going to try and maybe kill some lurkers and then back up, but he might run the risk of losing all of these tanks to the good links around. Luckily, there's no Zerglings on standby to gobble those up, so he does manage to pull them back to the safety of some vultures in the center of the board here. Now starting to get his 4th base online to keep his hopes alive in this game. Tanks now rotating back round to that 6 o'clock location, trying to seize the high ground here over on the left side of the map. There is a Dark Swarm and a Lurker to shut this down, though.
Yeah, it's kind of useless here. Like, you can't push through Dark Swarm Lurker. You need to keep the opponent back. He's starting to clear it in the middle of the map as well. Look at this. Soma can start to push up towards this 4th base. If he drops a Dark Swarm over there and lurkers, you're never going to break that. It's just going to sit there forever. And, I mean, you're going to have to cut off reinforcements to eventually wait out the Dark Swarm, but it's going to take a very long time. He has to keep this base alive. He's got to get this double expansion going, because Soma is switching into Queens, and he's going to start getting very efficient.
Oh, absolutely. It does take 2 minutes for that energy to come online for the Broodling. Basically, every minute it gives you like 50 or so energy. So yeah, 2 minutes from the time of those Queens hatching out. Soma trying to see if he can poke in with some Zerglings, get on top of those siege tanks, some body blocking the vultures from getting up to defend the tanks, but I think he cleared them up without losing the tanks there. Nice little ideas here from Soma. He's trying to see if he can be greedy and get some good positional advantage plays. Sneaks up a defiler up to this left-hand side where the mineral only is at Sakk's base, allowing these lurkers essentially to be immortal against these tanks unless there's a radiate available to him. It does take a minute or so for that Dark Swarm to dissipate, so he can eventually clean them up. But this is really annoying for Ssak to have to contend with, like these essentially immortal lurkers applying pressure to either side of his bases. And I mean, he's going to slowly fizzle out out of this game at this rate if he's not careful. He is going for a very powerful unit composition with this mech style, but takes a little bit of time to get underway and have a high enough threshold of tanks to really take it to the Zerg.
Oh my gosh, he's going for drops as well. We might see Flying Defiler here pretty soon, Xun.
Oh boy.
Dark Swarm?
That's crazy.
No Dark Swarm here on the left-hand side, but it's getting stressful here for Ssak, who's just barely keeping up in supply. Soma is just about maxed, guys. How crazy is that? We're sitting here 16 minutes. He is just about maxed, and he is going to start putting on the pressure again. Going for drops is amazing versus a meching player. They're all set up with all their tanks and mines everywhere. You drop inside the main base, and especially if you bring the queens as well. If you bring the queens over, there's no real anti-air in the main base to deal with the broodling with the queens. So you can, as the tanks come back to clear everything, drop a bunch of broodlings and clear out a huge number of tanks. Oh my gosh, this is going to get really wild as he pushes in towards this fresh base that's just trying to come up here. Another Dark Swarm and another Lurker is going to start to shut this down.
Yeah, it's been more than 2 minutes now, so all of those queens essentially have broodlings available to them to come in and try and eliminate some of these tanks at the opportune moment. He's at the moment just worried about expanding down here into the bottom left. I think he wants to bide his time and wait for the golden opportunity to run it down with so many units, and just when Ssak thinks that he can hold, suddenly a wave of queens swoop in and eliminate some critical tanks to make it so much harder to hold those lines for him. He's minesweeping with some Zerglings manually to make sure these Defilers and Ultralists are well protected, and well he should. He can chew through those mines with his Ultras with one shot from those Kaiser Blades, but needs to be careful not to take too much damage to free. He's going to get irradiated out into the open of the map, but if there's a massive EMP connection on all of those queens, that's a massive comeback potential for Terran. If you can EMP the flock of queens, that can be one way of turning the game around entirely.
Yeah, that can absolutely upset this power right now, the power scaling of either side. As soon as the queens get EMP'd, that utility and all of that supply that was used is just completely gone. Here comes the queens, though. Whole bunch of broodlings going down, and he can actually escape with most of the queens as well. So as the queens escape, they're going to continue to get value. Hitting everywhere at the same time. Sakk's dreams of getting 5 bases up is starting to go up in smoke.
Soma is just swarming him quite literally and figuratively in this game. It's kind of crazy to witness this. I mean, there's a weird interaction with queens where if the queen dies before the broodling has connected and activated onto the siege tank or whatever it's targeting, it actually doesn't count. So if you got like Goliaths or Irradiates helping kill those as they're coming in, that can also be a good way of dealing with them. But yeah, this looks like Soma's not going to be able to break through here for the time being, but he's so all over Ssak. Ssak is going to be stuck on these 4 mining bases for so long. Meanwhile, Soma will essentially have 5 bases, just staying one step ahead of the curve. Has a Mineroni now, so that'll be 6 bases as well. And he's going to start ramming it down with so much Ultra Ling to try and overwhelm the lines of Ssak. In a game like this, it's okay to make Ultralists versus mech as long as you keep the game as chaotic as possible, as scrappy as you can, and then the Ultras do provide the value they need, because it's 200 gas for these Ultras, and obviously tanks are only 100, so 2 tanks for 1 Ultra. If you've got a massive line of tanks, like 20 tanks leveraged into one position, those Ultras will just go pop. But keeping the game as chaotic and scrappy like this, you can see Soma still overwhelming him.
Yeah, he's overwhelming him for sure, and he's continuing to expand behind it. The supplies really tell the story here, guys. Soma has been maxed for a long time, and Ssak is just dropping. He's plummeting, and look at all these tanks that are going to go down. That's a great trade right there. When Lings are killing tanks and you're not even losing Ultras, it is amazing. There's a command center. It's super low on HP, of course. Pro players never infest command centers, so I'm not even gonna hold out hope for that to happen. Even though there are queens in this game, it just never seems to happen. Nobody ever has that idea, but it's extremely rare. I'm joking, guys, but it is extremely rare.
I think you should do it in versus mech sometimes. It just helps kill these CCs a little bit faster, especially because most of your units don't even attack air. So if they do float the command center to save it, it can be a little bit annoying. But yeah, with the Queen can help. All these tanks getting absolutely eviscerated by those Broodlings on the western flank, saying there are some vessels showing up, but they're so late to the party. That CC's repaired up just enough that those Queens can't get the infested command center. It would be nice to see, say, and I completely agree with you, but it's not going to happen, at least for the time being.
Yeah, it never happens, Xun. It's not going to happen here either. Soma would never humiliate Ssak like that. He's going in for the killing blow here, it seems, as Ssak drops all the way down to nearly 100 supply. Soma just overwhelming him with Ultra Ling and making it look easy, but I guarantee you this is way harder than it looks, Xun. He is blasting through with a flying defiler as well. He had a defiler in that overlord, managed to drop it out and get another dark swarm there just to continue breaking this base.
Yeah, the amount of task switching and mental mapping you need to do to keep on top of this amount of level of assault while macroing on like 7 going on 8 bases. GG is finally called from Ssak. He's still got the gum in his mouth, but he's pursing his lips a little bit. He's not as smiley as he once was earlier. He is going to be dropping down to that losers match to face off against Saber. And here we have Soma going through to the winners match to face off against Mini coming up next. That's going to be such a great match, Saiyan.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was hoping for, Xun. We're going to see Soma versus Mini in the winners, and I honestly couldn't tell you who's going to win that. That's, I mean, I feel like Soma and Mini are going to get through this group, but this is going to be an insane match. I cannot wait for this winners, guys. It'll be definitely the best match of the night.
Oh yeah, I'm so stoked, man. Like, I know it was likely to happen, but I'm still excited that it has come to pass. Our predictions have been more or less solid so far in the ASL. So I don't think we've called a game wrong once in terms of who we expected to win. I don't go away, guys, unless you need to run to the bathroom, grab some tipple, even if it's just water and fruit to be healthy. This game is just getting underway, guys. This is going to be one of the best seasons of ASL. I can feel it. Come back and join us again in a few minutes for this next winners match between Mini and Soma. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, this is going to be the sponsored segment, it looks like. We got Google Play as the sponsor. It's right behind my big fat head here. There it is, Google. Kind of an awesome sponsor for such an old game, guys. We're beyond 25 years now, I believe, of StarCraft Brood War, and we're still getting sponsored. In fact, the sponsors are getting better as time goes on. We got Razer here. We got Google Play. Absolutely insane. Great sponsors for the ASL.
Oh, absolutely. I believe that's the modern take on the Death Adder mice. So we used to use those back in the day for FPS games. They're so good. So maybe snag one of those guys for yourself. You can see a lot of people in the crowd here showing that they're taking part in, I think, the Google Play or something to redeem the rewards that they've got there. If you type in that little code, I guess you get some 1,000 Google Play points or something. Yeah, check it out. It's such a good thing that we've got these kinds of levels of sponsors for the ASL. Really does breathe more life into the scene and keep us charging forward in this golden era of StarCraft in the modern day. I never thought that we would have this kind of golden age this late into the scene, but it seems to be happening, guys. StarCraft's just so good. It's going to become like the chess of gaming.
We certainly hope so, and we're going to continue to try to bring this to as many people as possible, the English audience out there. We very much enjoy entertaining you guys, and we really hope you're having a good time here. Everybody in the SCTV EN chat here on Soup Live, and everybody out there on SCTV EN, or excuse me, on StarCastTV on YouTube later. Thank you guys so much for watching. It is an absolute blast to be here casting the ASL for you guys once again. And I am just extremely happy to be seeing Soma play playing at his peak performance. Cannot wait to see how he does against Mini. I expect that Mini is going to give him a real headache here, but who knows, man? Who knows? We're going to find out here. Commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, boys. It's time. Winners match. Soma and Mini. Oh, this is what I've been waiting for, Shun.
Oh, yeah, it's about to get started, guys. I'm super looking forward to this. I was having a bit of a hard time sleeping yet again last night, thinking about these two gamers in particular, especially their showdown match. I really did expect to see both of them here in this winners match, and who knows who's going to go out first too. You can see both of them in good spirits. Maybe Soma also talking with Mini here a little bit before the match and making him giggle a bit.
Yeah, it looks like they're having a bit of banter back and forth. I guess the factor is Soma here, right? He's got Ssak laughing, and now he's got Mini laughing. Look at that big smile on his face.
He's the common denominator.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of his strategy. Like, get these guys like all loosened up with some laughter and like sneakily make them have a false sense of security going forward into this match. But really, he's coming in with laser precision, saying both players are ready, though. We are going to be jumping into this game, the Group C winners match between Mini and Soma, and the map is going to be knockout.
Soma spawning over here in the top left. Mini top right. This should be a map. This should be a game that goes down in history, boys. Who's going to get out of this group first? I imagine both these guys get out, but this is going to set the tempo for a future interaction between these guys that could be going down in the round of 16 or later.
Oh, absolutely, saying, oh, guy wearing the little Mini jersey there, flashing some peace signs. I would just like to quickly point out to the viewers about how the maps and the format of this round of 24 is working exactly. So basically, match 1 and 2, that's going to be dominated no matter what here in the round of 24. And then in the winners and losers match is going to be either Screaming Sea, Knockout, or Litmus, depending on what either player bans. And then for the final match, it's going to be those other macro maps you've seen before, like Metropolis, Radion, and Polestar.
Yeah. It's surprising to me that we even got to see Screaming Sea so far. I thought everybody would ban that, but I guess, you know, Larva decided to ban this map and in favor of going for Screaming Sea, and he had a great plan there. I wonder if anybody else in the round of 24 will take that risk, because it's just such a wild map.
Yeah, it's kind of almost on the vein as like Death Valley, right? Like, it's not quite as crazy of a wild card map, but it's pretty darn close, saying. So I imagine it'll be much the same, where we'll see it occasionally by players that are confident with it, but the vast majority of players probably not wanting to, you know, risk their tournament life on a map like that.
I don't know. I think that it's a great idea to go ahead and, you know, as a tournament player, figure out a great build for a map like that, because your opponent's probably expecting to never have to play on that. It's just going to be bad. So if you manage to put together like a really good plan, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. Mini's sending out 2 probes, and he's going to block this hatchery over at the 3rd as well. Oh man, he's putting so much pressure. 5 HP on that drone. He keeps it alive. You've got to be kidding me.
Wow, really exciting already, and we're barely just getting started, saying there's already some sparks flying between these two individuals. The metal has collided at high velocities, and these guys already getting a little bit invested into this game. Has finally got those 2 hatcheries on the way, but he blocks the natural, he blocks the 3rd. He has slowed down Soma pretty significantly in this game, and has gone for a safety couple of cannons to prevent any kind of shenanigans from Soma wanting to eliminate him early, and he checks the wrong direction with those Zerglings.
Yeah, he sent those all the way down there. It doesn't really matter, though. There's 2 cannons in the natural, so there's really no way to get any damage done with these early lings. If that drone went down, the advantage would be absolutely astronomical. But
Astronomical, absolutely.
Mini isn't able to get the kill there, just barely slipping away. Soma avoids disaster, and he's going to be able to play a good game here. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, we're going to see a very solid game from both of these gentlemen. Mini not wanting to put on any pressure early. This is essentially a remake of Circuit Breakers. Plays much the same way, but it's a much more modern take on the game, especially with like things like these mineral patches on the ramp. We've even got this new design of having this massive trench out in front of your rally point location in your natural. I mean, that will cause lots of missed chances, say from like Hydra busts and what have you. So a lot of players might be hesitant to go from those traditional pressure plays in this matchup, or maybe just this map in general. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing anything too crazy in the early game from either side here, and that could mean that we have a really strong macro game.
That would be the best for the audience and for us as casters. That's what we're hoping for here, to really allow these two players to fight it out in the mid game at the very least. We don't want to see either player go down here early, and so far, that is coming to pass here. Mini slipping out with 2 Zealots, though. He could get a lot of damage with this if Soma doesn't have vision, but it seems like he's sending Lings absolutely everywhere, looking for some plays like this. Will he catch on to these 2 Zealots, though? Otherwise, they may cause a huge disaster going forward.
I think he's just barely going to miss him with the Overlord. Yeah, he's not... He is so sneaky, man. These are some ninjas right now out on an expedition. He has got some Zerglings, though, going down here to check for that. He's going to probably fan out those Zerglings and try and check for them. Oh, he's... Okay, he just barely sees them. He saw them for like 1 hex. I'm not sure if he actually noticed on the mini-map, though. He might not have actually paid enough attention to spot them. So he hasn't actually got his Zerglings in position to deal with this. He's going to get in there with these 2 Zealots and at least force a lot of lost mining time, Saiyan.
Yeah, that's so annoying. Oh, gosh. He was so close to spotting that as well. If he goes back and watches that replay, he's going to be really kicking himself for not noticing that tiny little blip, but it's totally understandable. Mini, an absolute ninja with these early units and getting some good value basically no matter what. Spire is done. Some Scourge will be on the way here soon to counter these Corsairs coming out, and we're going to get into a bit of a longer game. At least he's getting 2-on-1 trades. That's not too bad. Killing off this Zealot without losing too much.
Yeah, he's not actually killing the Zealot, but he can bring 1 drone to help. Oh, don't lose the drone! Oh my gosh! That Zealot still finding value. It was a cute idea from Soma to try and utilize the drone to help the Zergling out. A little bit of miss micro, though, led to some disaster. Mini finding value with those ninjas regardless. It is going to be a standard 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra kind of style right now. He is mining that second gas, though, is Soma. Could go for a bit of a Mutalisk Scourge combination here and try and put the pressure onto Mini in the skies. Mini has a pretty adequate Corsair fleet, but I don't think he's going to want to be throwing down a second Stargate here again.
Yeah, I don't like this double Stargate play personally. It's a very big commitment, and a lot of these pro players are so good at dealing with that type of play, but Soma actually built some mutas here, and he doesn't have this sunken colony done. Is he just going to get bowled over here, Xun? He's going to come in and try to get some connections. Oh, right as the Scourge pop out. That's a beautiful timing to come in with the mutas, but that's some amazing micro. Oh my gosh.
Did you see
such
that?
good micro there. Oh. He's keeping these alive. That's... I've only ever seen Snow do this, but look at this. Mini's actually doing it perfectly. He keeps most of his Scourge, or most of his Corsairs alive. Still 6 Corsairs here on the front lines battling the Scourge.
It's so hard to get those Corsairs to flick around with their neutron flares and gun the Scourge while not losing too much of their acceleration and maintaining their inertia line. It's actually so hard to do. It's not like Mutalisks or Wraiths. It's the hardest to do with Corsairs. Mini somehow makes it look easy occasionally. We haven't seen that many players go for those kinds of tactics. You see some players attempt it and fail miserably, so that's why you don't see it so often. It takes a lot of commitment and balls of steel able to go for something like that. Mini has done it to fruition here, has 7 count of these Corsairs still in the skies, applying pressure, now starting to put some harassment onto these overlords, forcing more and more Scourge to be produced from Soma, at the very least draining some of the lava and gas that will be available to him. There's only 4 Mutalisks coming into the natural expansion to pressure Mini, so he has to two-shot these probes, unfortunately, and he won't be able to stay here for too long, so he's not really finding the compensation that he needs to.
There's so many Corsairs here, man. It's so impressive that Mini is able to accomplish that micro. I mean, this is such a hard thing to do, guys. Just go into a custom game and try to flick Corsairs like that. It's incredibly difficult. I don't know how he was able to keep all of those Corsairs alive, but look at the response it's forced out of Soma. He's made 2 spore colonies because he just cannot keep overlords and these mutas alive right now, and he needs some form of consistent detection in case there's a DT play coming and he can't keep those overlords alive.
Mini must have really been practicing this a lot in a custom map or something, because he seems so confident with it, right? Like, he's doing it quite often, and he's losing like 1 or 2 Corsairs here and there. He just lost another one to Scourge, but he has still 8 Corsairs in the skies, which means he doesn't have to replace them. All of his gas can go on tech units like High Templars and other upgrades that he needs. Soma has a pretty good economy available to him as well. This game is far from over. Mini will still have to, get a 3rd base online to really start to find his stride in this game. He could, though, go for a massive 2-base timing here. He's being very sneaky again with these Zealots, going all the way to the 12 o'clock pocket to maybe hopefully catch Soma with his pants down with the Hydras out of position. If he has got these Hydras in the Sim City wall, he will be fine, but he's actually going to get on top of these Hydras as they start to come out to intercept the Corsairs. Needs to be so careful with these Hydras and get them back to the safety of this wall. Then the Zealots won't have enough surface area to break through, but this is still a great effort from Mini just to be as annoying as possible and keep Soma on the back foot.
Oh, he's going to slip some High Templars across the map at the same time. He's going around the top side, so it's much more difficult for Soma to catch on to this. If he manages to make it to the Sim City with these High Templar, it's going to be a bloodbath. This is so many Zealots, and Soma's got a lot of High Templar to try and deal with that, but he cannot snipe with mutas these High Templar. He's going to have to fight head-to-head with this and try to dodge storms. Here we go. Where are the storms? First storm goes down. Second storm goes down on quite a few Hydras here on the right-hand side, but actually good dodges here from Soma means he can really start to shove forward, snipe these High Templar, and this is not going to do much damage at all. Great defense by Soma here over at his natural. It's a bit of a scary situation, but he handled it beautifully.
Yeah, really well done from Soma. A lot of Zergs would have fallen apart there, but he had such good positioning and dodging of those storms to prevent too much value being ascertained by Mini there. And usually you're trying to micro back all the way across the map against that Zealot Templar threat, forcing storms all the way from their rally point all the way to your rally point. But he got caught with his pants down a little bit with the High Templars sneaking around like that, but it didn't matter. He's now got a couple of lurkers hatching out to really help out against this predominantly Zealot force as well. Those subterranean spines ripping through the HP and shields of those units. Mini in a little bit of trouble now. Has got a shuttle, though, making its way into the main base. He needs to find some kind of compensation for this level of investment and this much infantry that's being absolutely evaporated to the flood of Hydras right now. It's 2 DTs saying, will Soma notice?
2 DTs into the main. This can absolutely end the game if he's not paying attention, and he is not paying attention. All the hard work that's been done by Soma this game is being completely undone here as he loses every single drone in the main. He tries to run up to the natural. He's poking here, but he still hasn't noticed. Finally, he's going to start attacking the layer, and now Soma knows the bad news. Oh my gosh, Xun. Just like that, Mini has completely ruined Soma's game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not over for Soma right now, but he's taken such a beating. He has to either do something to the wall in of Mini or something and put the pressure back onto Mini somehow. The Corsairs screening some of those overs for a little bit of time, buying some valuable time for those warp blades to still find connections onto the lair. Not going to have enough time to finish that off, though. He instead splits off the DTs to opposite corners here, scoops up one of them in the safety of that shuttle and hides the other one in the top left. That will be found and dealt with by Soma. But I mean, this is still really problematic. He's lost so many drones here. The supplies seem to reflect that Soma's in actually an okay position. Can Soma do a full-on contain now? Oh my god, how did he get 3 more drones with that Templar when he knew about it with the Overlord Scout? Having a little bit of hard time finding his footing here is Soma, but he has got a pretty sizable contain right now set up for Mini to contend with, so it won't be such an easy feat to expand now.
I mean, this happens to even the best Zerg players in the world, the best and the worst. You get 2 Dark Templar into your main base like that. It's so hard to notice this, and you know what? This could be really difficult for Mini to break out of, but I know what he's about to do here. Send this shuttle back into the main and try to get even more damage. He's still got some Corsairs to work with, so it's going to be hard to get connections with Scourge onto that shuttle. And he's going to try and break out of the contain that way. He's already limited the overall income of Soma by quite a bit, just getting these kills here in the main, and he's going to try and do more. Let's see if he can get into that main base while trying to break out here. It's a very tough position to break out of, but Mini is already across the ditch. He's managed to quickly get past this first hurdle, but now coming across the bridges is going to be tough.
Yeah, he's blown the whistle to send his forces over the trench and just go out into no man's land, try and skirmish with the Zerg as much as possible, beat back all of these lurkers that have been tightening the noose around this contain point. He's now walking up into another kill box, though, with these 4 lurkers on the high ground, making it a little bit hard to advance. The Dragoons, though, doing a lot of heavy lifting with those phase disruption shots, trying to tactically snipe. Beautiful Storm now coming on to help out, kill that last. Oh, he's going to lose the shuttle as it comes back into the safety of the main base. So many high Templars dying for free as well. He needs to be careful not to lose those and pull them back to safety. He hasn't got energy for Storm just yet. If Soma maintains control of this high ground while pincering from the south, this could be a winning gambit for him, but Mini has managed to get his toes up onto this ledge now, but I don't think there's going to be enough threshold of units to go and push him all the way back. Needs to be careful not to lose these critical observers as well, giving him the vision needed to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, no Overlord there in position to help him snipe those observers. So observers are going to stay alive for now, and Mini is going to have another opportunity to try and push forward here. Again, a second nice snipe on that High Templar, getting rid of that critical unit here at a critical juncture. Both those High Templar are now gone. There's 1 lurker here to try and help hold the line, but Soma's got quite a few more Hydras rallying up. Will it be enough? Okay, 1 more lurker just behind this position. That lurker does go down at the front. The Dragoon number is getting low, though. As long as he target fires here. Oh my gosh, just a few more Zealots make their way to the front. Should it's so close to being a bust out.
It's so close. It's insane how close it is. I think Mini's just barely going to clear the bust, but he's got such few units left remaining. Maybe Soma can muster enough forces to try and overwhelm this third base before it can get underway. Mini needs to start long distance mining this third base right away. He is completely dried up on his main and natural due to the high level of saturation already, so he needs to get a few trickle of minutes. He's got nothing coming in right now. He needs to make a few more High Templars or something. He needs to long distance mine this third base right now, or he's in a lot of trouble, saying he's got no money coming in at all. Whereas with the slightly lower saturation on Soma's bases, he's still mining pretty effectively. Eventually, Soma might be able to bowl him over before this third base even finishes.
Yeah, this DT going to try and slip in, but there's a Spore and a Sunken Colony that should be able to shut that down. Oh gosh, he's going to get more drone kills here, Xun, isn't he? Oh man, so many drones have gone down to these DTs, and Mini is still in this game. He's still hanging on, but just barely. Oh, the DT goes down, trying to make it into the main. Disaster averted there for Soma as he's trying to just keep these lurker eggs alive. He will keep the lurker eggs alive, and they do hatch, but he burrows on top of his... Oh my god, it's such a tight formation. It's such a scary thing. You can lose so many lurkers at the same time, but more Hydras coming forward. This is the last forces of Mini, and they're all going down here. He's going to be able to target down the last few Dragoons and perhaps push forward. There it is. He does it. Soma breaks Mini. Unbelievable game there.
Did you see the shaking hand of Soma? Those were like, he knew that he had that game in the bag if he could just execute correctly. That was probably a lot of adrenaline running through his body in the last phase of that game, understanding his position and that he just needed to run it down and keep ramming Mini head on like that. He knew he was mined out. He knew he desperately needed that third base, and he had a little bit of trickle income from his own 3 bases due to the lower drone saturation, and actually Mini killing those drones in the main base meant that it was a long time coming until that main base would be mined out. You can see the emotions of Mini now. He's really frustrated with that game. That could be disastrous for Mini's group stage. If he can't keep his head together in that final match, he might be in a little bit of trouble despite having an inferior opponent, Sam.
Dude, how strong was this containment? Coming across these bridges was an absolute nightmare for Mini. All those Dragoons just clumping up on top of each other and eating massive spines. You can see the perfect positioning on these lurkers from Soma, giving himself a wide arc to work with and keeping these Hydras in the back line firing the entire time. Look at all of the Dragoons that died there to just a couple of lurker spines. There's like 5 Dragoons all died at the same time because they were eating so much splash damage. This was an incredible contain, and even with the drone damage that was done by those 2 lurkers, Mini still not able to break out of it.
Absolutely wild stuff that we're seeing here today, saying I can't believe the game was this close. Mini was so close to securing that third base. He did technically manage to accomplish it, but not before losing so many units to ascertain that win condition, and then just was dried up too much to kind of stabilize against the onslaught from Soma, mining on 3 bases. And I mean, this is just painful for Mini to contend with. Really adept positioning and understanding of how to abuse a Protoss player in those kill boxes from Soma. The target firing onto those Dragoons, really critical as well, reducing the punching power of Mini, being able to come out from that contain and establishing himself once more. I mean, I'm so impressed by Soma's play. He looks like he's in great shape, Sam.
We're going to have an interview now with Soma, finally making it back from the military and already getting through into the round of 16 over Mini, of all people, the former ASL champion. I mean, this is a statement here that Soma's just made. He is down to play. He is here to win, and the other pro gamers in this tournament better watch out.
Yeah, there's actually a game called Soma, which is pretty good, guys. If you want to check that out on Steam, I won't say too much about it. It's a survival horror game. I mean, watching this guy play looks like a survival horror game to me, saying, can you imagine being on the opposite side of the spectrum against this guy? I would feel like I'm in some kind of scary movie. Like, I feel kind of bad for Mini because he didn't seem like there was much more that he could do there. Like, he did a great job of killing so many drones in the main base with those 2 Dark Templars as well. He had such a formidable position coming back in that game, and he delayed the hatcheries for so long in the early phase, but his Zealot pressure fell flat on his face. He couldn't really accomplish a lot with it. Managed to get 2 High Templars sneakily over there to support, but it wasn't good enough. The positioning, dodging, and overall Hydra control from Soma was just too much for him to bear, and he snuffed him out in this match quite easily to break out of the Group 2-0, saying, I'm really proud of Soma.
I wouldn't call that one easy, man. Dude, Mini with some amazing pressure with the early Corsair play, forcing out spores. When's the last time you saw Soma build spores to defend against Corsairs, man? But when he saw the level that Mini was bringing there with the Corsairs, he knew that he was going to end up losing detection and that DTs were going to be a massive threat. He just wasn't prepared in that main base. I'm just blown away by some of the moves shown here today by Soma. Able to take down that High Templar push as well. That is such a scary push to have to deal with when the High Templar managed to make their way all the way to your natural unscathed. He dealt with that with flying colors, with a lot of finesse. Super impressed by this man. Cannot wait to see him going forward in this tournament.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years since we've seen him here at the ASL. It's great to have him back and in such good shape. I mean, he must have had some kind of cushy job over there in the military. Maybe he put in a lot of practice hours while he was stationed elsewhere and hasn't really slumped too much or had too much rust to scrape off when he came back. And either way, he's performing so good. I did see a little bit of shakiness from him as he was winning that game. So he must be feeling a lot of adrenaline and excitement from breaking out of this group stage, which is a good sign. It means he's hungry for it, and we might be seeing a lot more great games from him in that round of 16 and beyond. It's been a little bit of time since we've seen him in a round of 8, so it would be great if he could somehow break out of that round of 16 group stage, but it's going to be so hard. There's so many heavy hitters here in this tournament, Sam.
Who's going to pick Soma in the round of 16? Like, this guy is radioactive right now. After taking down Mini, I don't think anybody's gonna want to place him in their group, but we'll have to see. There are so many, like you said, great players here. Maybe there's other players who are looking even stronger, and people will be more afraid to add to their group. Guys, we're going to a commercial break. When we get back, that losers match between Ssak and Saber, that's coming right up. All right, guys, our losers match is coming right up. We got Ssak versus Saber, and I'm not sure who's going through, but whoever has to go up against Mini, I mean, it's not an enviable position here. This is a tough group, maybe one of the tougher groups for an upset to happen with Mini and Soma standing in your way. Like, I don't know what he's praying for right now, but I think the Saber needs a miracle.
Well, I was wondering, is he praying or meditating? I couldn't quite tell, but he definitely should be doing both maybe here. Has got the heat pack between his fingers, keeping himself fresh. He does look a little bit sweaty, a little bit unnerved here. Ssak, even though he's not necessarily the best of players, he is still a strong contender and is much more calm and collected on this stage as he's not a newcomer. So I think my money would definitely be going on Ssak here, beating out Saber. Saber's a strong macro Zerg, but Sark's very technical. He's probably going to bust out a 1-1-1 or something as well. It's going to be really tricky for Saber to keep his cool and play his A game. Looks like Knockout is going to be the map of choice here going forward, guys.
All right, we're ready. Who's going to be going out first in Group C? We're about to find out.
It's the ASL Season 20 Group C losers match between Saber and Ssak, guys. The map's going to be Knockout. Let's get it started and see who faces off against Mini.
Saber spawning in top right. Ssak down here in the bottom left. And I want to say something, Xun, before we potentially have Ssak get eliminated. I watched the qualifiers, and Ssak went up against Shuttle in the finals of...
Yeah, he did.
He ended up eliminating Shuttle in the finals of his group. And when I watched that game, there was so much funkiness going on. There was so many throws and counter throws and so much weirdness going on. I was like, this guy is the Terran Shuttle.
He is, man. He really is.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I got, and that's what I'm sticking with. He is that guy.
I know exactly what you're talking about as well. It was almost like a game of like who could throw the game hardest. It's almost like these two are like master trolls and they just enjoy throwing games or something. He's so good in TVP in the early game, gets himself into the most craziest game-winning positions, and then just goes like, nah, I don't want to win right now, and just completely throws the game out of the window. It's insane watching those guys play.
Yeah, he got himself into a fantastic spot in the early game. He was looking brilliant with his opener, and then he did some weird 4-tank push that completely flopped and turned the entire game on its head. Made it into like a 30-minute clown show where both players were just kind of flopping around, and it was an intense match. Ultimately, he managed to make it through into the round of 24, but he's probably going to be going down today, guys. It's just, will he go down here, or is he going to go down versus Mini, is my impression of what's happening today.
Yeah, I think he's going down no matter what, but yeah, you're absolutely right saying, is it versus Saber or Mini? I would love to see more from Saber here, but I'm worried for his nerves. I'm worried that he can actually perform. He's a really strong macro Zerg, but StarCraft's such a difficult game. It's like a trial by fire, and like you try and hone yourself in those fires to become a sharper blade for the future, but it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes you end up becoming a lump of slag, just beaten and disheartened and unable to really become much use to anything in this scene. It's that brutal, and Saber is one of those guys that's like risen to the top of the pile, poked his head up, finally got some oxygen from that mass of bodies trying to claw their way to the highest rankings in StarCraft. But that means now there's eyes on him. All these pro gamers have watched his games, mapped him out, and will metagame him to their heart's content until he develops a more complete, well-rounded style to not get completely decimated in tournaments like this.
This is an interesting opener here from Ssak. Against the 12 hatch, he's going to be opening with a Wallen into a gas into a CC. So he's going to be doing something a little cheeky here. Not your typical MM play, not a 2 racks or a 4 racks, which has become so popular. And there's really no way for Saber to scout this 1-1-1. Like, he cannot get in here with the Overlord. It's too far across the map. He can't traverse over to that other side here since he sent it down to bottom right. And I mean, he's gonna come up and kind of poke at the natural, but unless he knows the timings and gets a click on that CC and figures out, oh yeah, you are a little slow on that CC, he's just not gonna know, and he might actually take some serious damage to the initial vulture.
Yeah, we saw something like that kind of happen in the Soma game. Like, he wasn't really aware of those speed vultures for quite some time. Saber, if he doesn't have a good, Sim City to block that and can respond properly, maybe he'll take a lot more damage than Soma did in that game. Depends on how well he's reading things and looking into the cues and timings of the game. You have to be very dialed into StarCraft to piece together the puzzle with what little information you do have available. And obviously the other guy can also manipulate your vision and make you think that something's happened when it isn't by, throwing you fake puzzle pieces to put together for yourself and coming to the wrong conclusion here as well. And yeah, StarCraft's such a hard game for that reason. You never want to assume things if you can help it. You always want to force a confirmation on your suspicions. Sometimes, though, you only can rely on your instinct and suspicions going forward, and that's when players can get into a lot of trouble.
Saber here checking the front. He sees only a few Marines. He might be expecting something like a 4 racks plus 1, but he's going to be a little bit surprised when this vulture pokes its head out, and he might even wait until he's got like 2-3 vultures and speed done before coming out, and that's when things get really scary, because you're not even going to be able to finish a sunken colony back at home at that point in order to keep yourself safe. There's a lot of lings out here in the front. It seems like Saber was thinking about maybe diving. Oh, he gets the vision. Oh, that's huge. He actually sees he can start to make a sunken colony now, and he might actually have it in time. This is a very big map with a long rush distance.
Yeah, sacrificing a tier 1 unit like that to get confirmation on your suspicions is certainly what you should be doing. You'll even see players sacrifice zealots and what have you to confirm things when they need to. And he's done that here, which means he'll have a nicely timed sunken to try and help block that. It's not going to be ready just yet, though. Going to try and see if he can get a run by Mutalisks, though, in position to intercept and prevent any kind of critical damage from occurring. So those speed vultures won't be providing too much value besides being relegated to denying an early third base here from Saber. So they're still going to be providing some value here for Ssak. Just shutting down the Zerg and keeping them on 2 bases for as long as possible is still a small win.
Yeah, it is a small win here. Just finding out about those vultures makes such a big difference. He's even made Scourge. Is expecting the follow-up here to be Valkyries, and he may have a opportunity to snipe one of those. Kind of revealing the Scourge here. The best thing to do is keep the Scourge underneath the stock so that the Terran player can't even see that you have them. But unfortunately, Saber not able to hide those very well, and so Ssak is being very careful this time with his Valkyries, and will build up to that higher count. 2 already here in the natural, and eating some volleys there as well, trying to get some damage going.
I think Saber might be going crazy, Zerg. He just threw it down an Evo and then a Queen's Nest just after it. I mean, that's crazy Zerg timings saying that he went for. It doesn't necessarily mean he has to do crazy Zerg here. I mean, it can sometimes just be for a carapace upgrade, so the Zerglings can help out the Mutalisks on the ground a little bit better or something. But usually it does seem to indicate some kind of crazy Zerg-esque style. Maybe he's expecting a big bio push from Saber here in that like 9-10 minutes. And as long as he can just weather that storm, potentially something like, very fast Ultralisk timing could just wipe out Ssak in this game. But he's going to be careful. He'll have mines and stuff to contend with as well if he does go for that crazy Zerg style. But he doesn't have to. He could just use this Evo Chamber for some, armor upgrades and go forward. But it is the timing of crazy Zerg. So I'm wondering what the game plan here is exactly from Saber. He's still on 2 bases, mind you, so won't be the most optimal of plays from him, but it might catch Ssak off guard.
Ssak is going for mech, Xun. Ssak is going to go mech with Valkyrie. This is insane. He's going to have so much anti-air, and then he's going to start pumping out vultures like crazy, taking map control, and eventually getting into double expansion and tanks. And Saber barely didn't scout the second factory. He sent a Muta in, but he didn't want to sacrifice it all the way in, so he ends up not scouting. This is becoming a really wacky game.
Didn't Ssak play like this against Sulky in the last season of ASL? He did something like this where he opened up Valkyries and did a very quick switch into mech afterwards. It can be risky because obviously you're quite flimsy while doing that transition. You need to be careful not to get bowled over by the Zerg just diving onto you early. But it seems like Saber has no intention of doing that. He's instead getting this third base location up here in the top left quadrant. And with these 4 Valkyries for the time being unscathed, we'll have pretty good air control to prevent some threats from Saber coming to fruition. We have the Hive now finished up. He's gone in with just 1 Mutalisk to scout what the tech pattern is going to be from the Terran player. He sees the factories. Now he knows it's mech.
Yeah, okay. Finding out about mech now is not as good as it would have been when he scouted initially with the 1 muta. If he just sacrificed that, found out about the mech play, he could have made some adjustments to his build. Crazy Zerg is not good against this, guys. There's going to be so many mines on the map because there's going to be an insane number of vultures. When you do something like this, you go into a mech on 2 bases and you're making Valkyries and you're making a science facility. You don't have a lot of gas to spare, but you got a lot of minerals. So what do? Tons and tons of vultures absolutely everywhere. That's what we're going to see from Ssak.
Yeah, there's a lot of times in StarCraft where you're kind of just stuck with what you've got, and it's not necessarily optimal to keep playing that way, but you kind of have to, because trying to transition would also end up being a worst case scenario for you. So usually you play with whatever suboptimal units and composition and tech you've got available, at least for the time being, and try and make do. Trying to switch it up at the last minute usually spells disaster in StarCraft. So even though it's not optimal against mech, he's going to try and make it work. If he's got lings to detonate the mines and clear out some of those minefields, it can still work. If he catches Ssak out of position here and kills some units for free with good surrounds, anything can happen in a game of StarCraft, but this is suboptimal to say the least, Sam.
Well, an army making its way over here to top left is a bit scary. I don't think there are ultras out here just yet. Nor are they really going to do too well against this force. He's buying time here on the high ground with just a few lings and bringing a lot of Scourge forward. He's definitely going to be getting that vessel. Can he get some of these Valkyries as well? Looks like he might have gotten 1 Valkyrie here. Most of the Valkyries do escape. And you know what? This is really good for Saber. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. He actually cleans this with flying colors.
Yeah, this is better than I thought it would go, at least. And I mean, he's not won the game, obviously, but he's shut down the initial pressure from Ssak. It opens up the game to more possibilities. He has to be active in clearing out these mines on the map, though. So he'll either have to get an overlord across the map to use the Mutalist to sweep those out, or send 1 or 2 lings out on move commands to try and clear those out for his Ultralist to come into fruition later on. For the time being, though, he's just going to set up a macro, set up more hatcheries, throw down some drones through Nidus canals to saturate his bases. There'll be a little bit of time coming until he wants to get aggressive here against Ssak. But I mean, so far so good.
Yeah, very good play so far from Saber, and he's getting himself into another. Oh my gosh, another great position here. He's actually going to catch the vessel. Oh yes, this is some great Zerg play. You'll love to see it. Bringing the Scourge along in the path he knows that the air units are going to take to come and deal with these mutas, and getting some great value out of that. Ultras are now on the field, and Saber's going to start exploding on the map, grabbing more bases in different corners, and just getting whatever gas he can as he transitions here into Ultra.
If he keeps this game scrappy enough, this could just work, saying there are a lot of Ultras, though, going to be laying down so many mines, so we need to see those mine-sweeping abilities of Saber come into effect. He needs to at least use an Overlord with these. He's starting to do that now. He's got a few pairs of Scourge to stop these Valkyries from shutting that down, but he has got some Overlords around the map, and will use these Mutalists to clear out some of those minefields as actively as he can. Needs to be worried, though, about possible attacks from Ssak. Ssak hasn't yet got this 3rd base finished, but he still has a potential strong 2-base timing that he could go for here. Luckily, there are Nidus canals set up for Saber to reallocate his units appropriately. As long as he intercepts this army ahead of time, so he knows where to reposition his units and intercept, he can still hold this off. And now you can see these Ultralists with 4-1 upgrades now easily could cleave through this army of Ssak. He has got a few tanks here over at the 3rd base, but not enough tanks to attack Saber anytime soon.
Oof, some big mine connections on a few of these Ultras are going to soften them up so much. You have to be so careful with a composition like this, not to allow mines to just connect with these Ultras and get in some insane value. The Vultures are basically free at this point. You're spending all
Right.
your money on gas to get tanks out, and then the vultures are just whatever other minerals you have just thrown into those units, and then of course the mines, 3 per vulture. They are essentially free as well, and so getting kills on 200 gas ultras is insane. It's so much value, and Sak's gonna take that whenever he can get it. It's up to Saber to clear these mines beforehand and make sure that those mines do not connect on these valuable ultras.
Yeah, if we were casting this on Twitch, saying we'd be seeing a lot of 75s in the chat in agreement with you about these vulture units. Just so effective and cheap right now. Trying to hold the line with a few ultras on hold position. There's not a lot to deal with this. This is a massive attack from Ssak. So many tanks are now being leveraged in this position. There's a counterattack from Saber, rotating from the 6 o'clock 4th base that's being taken to now this 3rd base as well, all the way to the rally point, trying to drag in mines to those weak units of those vultures, as well as get on top of what few tanks are in remnants here at this rally point. Pretty big splash damage coming down from those dragged mines as well. Trying to force a turnaround from Ssak to go back home and defend before things get a little bit too chaotic. He's got more and more ultralisks showing up, trying to shut down mining at these 2 bases. Sometimes attack is the best form of defense. You can see that exemplified here by Saber. He's not necessarily going to be successful in killing Ssak, but he is forcing a turnaround, kills some of those Valkyries in the sky as well. As long as he keeps most of these cows alive, he can still make it work.
Yeah, he's keeping Ssak off of a 3rd gas right now, which is really going to help his cause. Keeping that tank count low is his primary concern. You never want to allow Ssak to get to such a huge tank count where he can just gun down all the ultras before they can fully engage. And so he's just going to keep on hammering here, hitting the tanks, knocking them down, and keeping them off of this gas is a big part of making this work properly. Keeping his army moving through the middle of the map and sending out small groups of lings to keep cleaning these mines as well. Ssak is going to start to move to the right-hand side to set up more mine fields because he knows there was an opening. Otherwise, how did those ultras make their way down to the bottom right initially?
Yeah, we got 2-1 upgrades here for Ssak. There'll be a little bit of time coming until that +3 weapons and armor do start to come online. Another minute or so, maybe a minute and a half. It's great that Ssak is finally getting this 3rd gas online, but you're right, it's been a long time coming, so that might be just the thing that Saber needs to start growing more with his own 4 gas economy and stopping Ssak from exploding too much on the map. Supplies are actually pretty close here, but that's not too surprising with how things have gone. Look at how many ultralisks are out on the field right now, trying to actively deny run-bys and mines from being placed. But look at this run-by potential here in the main base. There's not a lot to stop these from getting in here and actually getting a lot of damage potential. Some queens actually coming out of these eggs, even a defiler as well, but so many drones are going to be falling to those fragmentation grenades. Saber in a little bit of desperation now, trying to rotate his drone line out to safety while getting some units up here to defend. I mean, pretty good damage from Ssak. There is a small counterattack here at the 6 o'clock with some lings, but so many drones have gone down.
Yeah, a lot of drone death over in this main base. That's a pretty slick move from Ssak to get in here and cause some chaos, cause some frustration for Soma, for Saber, excuse me, right as he is kind of getting set up on these 4 bases and looking towards a 5th. Oh, Defiler goes down as well. That is rough. Very nice snipe there for Ssak, getting that kill, and that is another great trade. Had that Defiler been here right now, he could have thrown down a Darkstorm and possibly pushed back this army. He's going to bring up another Defiler. This is the moment here. He needs this Defiler. Oh, the snipe there. Beautifully done. Kills the Defiler, and now Saber will not be able to hold.
Great target firing from Ssak. He has a pack of queens, but it's going to be another minute until the energy is online for those to start to hold against Ssak's aggression. That's why Ssak's being so hyper-aggressive with his tanks right now. He knows he's on a bit of a clock. He's got about a minute to try and make it work right now, leveraging his tanks in such a high number. Once you get to a threshold of like 16 to 24 tanks, you can really start to bring the fight to the Zerg. Even those ultralisks under the clouds of Dark Swarm are not safe unless there's a borrowed lurker there to hold the line. Sometimes you will see that to try and deal with mech, but we have no lurkers here today. It's predominantly just predominantly just links and ultralists, no lurkers, so they will still die to the splash damage underneath those Cheeto clouds. And I mean, this is crazy what we're seeing here from Ssak. There's so many tanks being brought to bear. Saber still killing a few of those tanks off on the forward periphery to deny too much ground being seized by Ssak, but he's not done yet.
Oh my gosh, it's so close. 5 seconds and he can start to cast these broodlings. I'm not sure it's going to be enough, though. There's so many tanks here. And if the queen dies before the broodling lands, then the broodling does not activate. Here we go. He's going to spread out all of these queens, get as many broodlings off as he can, but there's still a ton of tanks waiting for him in this natural and bearing down on this 4th base.
Yeah, there's a little trouble in Terran Town for Saber to worry about right now. There's so much production behind this as well. Ssak on 4 bases mining. He's starting to get mined out his main and natural now, but he's taking a 5th mineral only over on the right-hand side of the map while shoving it down on this vertical axis here in the northwestern quadrant. He's going to lose that hatchery and a very valuable mining base at that. Saber in a lot of trouble. Hasn't got to fight out on this high ground to try and hold the line against this, but it's not going to be enough to save that hatchery at the bare minimum. All those drones have gone down as well. Pretty good mine drag into those tanks. Take 2 of them down to red HP and 1 of them falling as well to the Kaiser blades of that Ultralist, but he's still in so much trouble. Is Saber. He's lost one of his valuable mining bases. He has another mineral only that's been set up on the right-hand side, sending out a few forces into a counter-attack right now, but is it going to be enough?
Yeah, a couple of big moments here for Saber. Just did not go the way they should, and now he is in complete desperation mode, trying to get some counter-attacking going. They can kill some of these workers. Oh, just not quite able to get through there. Then that one desperate Ultralisk attack has failed. Ssak pushing in for the win. It's just a matter of time now before Saber taps out. He's even going to lose his precious Nidus Canal.
Yeah.
All the drones go down, and these 3 hatches are gone. That's so much production that just went down the drain.
Absolutely. So he did fight valiantly, though. It was a nice effort to make Crazy Zerg work for a while against this more optimal composition and tech choice from Ssak. Ssak is not necessarily one of the best players, but he certainly is very capable at doing these 1-1-1 into mech plays a lot better than most of the Terrans actually are. And this is one of the harder Terran styles to actually execute. So props to Ssak for bringing it here to Saber and going through, it looks like, now to the finals match against Mini. GG is caught by Saber, and we are going to be seeing that Terran versus Protoss. A little bit of emotions there coming out from Ssak, it seems. I don't know what that was all about. Maybe he's just happy he broke through to that finals match, or maybe he's even a little bit sad about knocking out Saber. Maybe they're friends, I don't know. But yeah, it seems like we're going to be having that Terran versus Protoss finals that we expected. I don't think Ssak is beating Mini, but at least we'll hopefully see a good game.
That was a wild play that Ssak pulled out. Managed to make it work. Valkyrie into mech. It does give you some insane punching power in the air, as well as a pretty smooth transition. You don't need a lot of Goliaths early on. You can kind of focus on vulture production and tank production to keep yourself safe on the ground. And Ssak made it work beautifully here. Although that push into top left initially did not go well. The ultra transition was just not the right antidote for what Ssak was trying to do. Saber made it really scrappy. There was a moment there when all the ultras were, killing the SCVs at the 3rd base or at the 4th base, and the 3rd was under threat, that I thought maybe there was something going well for Saber and he might be able to snowball that into a victory, but he just wasn't able to get enough bases online quickly enough, and Ssak takes him down. We're going to go into a short commercial break, guys. When we get back, the final match, that's going to be between Ssak and Mini. It's coming right up. All right, guys, the final match is coming up. Round of 24, Group C. Only Mini and Ssak remain here. Gotta parse these two out, find out who's going home and who's going to be staying here. My money is on Mini, but anything can happen in a best of one, and Mini knows this. He's got to stay sharp here. Make sure that he doesn't die to any shenanigans from Ssak, because you know he's going to be pulling out something sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, it could always be like, just a straight up 2-factory play or something. You never know. Seems like Mini, though, in good spirits today here. He's been smiling pretty much during the lobby period of all of these games that we've seen him in. He's not had the easiest of group stages here. He has had to fight his way through to the finals match now against Ssak due to how good Soma is playing. And maybe a lot of people didn't expect that. Maybe a lot of people thought that Mini was going to be going out 2-0 here in this group, but not going to be the case. There is still a chance that Mini could be eliminated as well. He did tilt a little bit against Soma. Let's see how dialed in he's going to be here against Ssak. Definitely would have my money on Mini as well, but anything can happen in StarCraft, Sam.
All right, we're ready. Let's go.
Okay, guys. ASL Season 20 Group C. It's going to be the finals match between Mini and Ssak. Let's get it started, guys. This is going to be epic. And the map, it's Polestar.
Mini spawning over here in the top left. Ssak down in the bottom left. And so Polestar, the map that was not vetoed here. Pretty solid map. I think one of the most solid maps we've had.
Yeah.
In terms of just pure macro maps, I enjoy this one a lot.
Yeah, it's been one of the more solid maps we've had since Radiant. Radiant was really good as well overall, and this is like the new macro map that's really been like coming into fruition, I think, in recent times. And I think that this might be here to stay, at least for a little bit. We've seen Radiant for so many seasons. We might be seeing Polestar for so many seasons as well. Guys, while I'm here at the start of this game, in case you've just now recently tuned in, either on the Super live stream or over on YouTube right now, just so you know, we have recently started a new Patreon page for us as duocasters. That's patreon.com/SayanZun Duocast, as in SAIYAN XUN Duocast. Just go in the search bar, look for SayanZun. You'll find us there. We appreciate any of your love and support. We do this as a passion project, but it would be nice if you guys could help support what we do if you like what we bring to you guys.
And even if you guys aren't in a position to support, go check out the page anyway. We're going to be putting out updates about all the different things we're doing, SCSL, KCM, ASL, and other tournaments as well. You'll be updated on when we do those duo casts, and we're going to use that as a resource to get information out to you guys. So go ahead and join for free. If you want to support, we do appreciate it very much so. Now, we've got Mini just opening up with a very standard opener here. Probably just going to be directly into Dragoon. He did send out the probe scout, wants to find Ssak here initially. But should be able to get out a pretty reasonably quick nexus behind this. We'll just see how greedy he wants to be with that, though, because his tournament life is on the line right now. You got to be careful here. Ssak could be doing something like you were saying, a 2-factory play or something like that. Just see how crazy he wants to get.
Yeah, you never really know what to expect, especially in these best of one set, and that can kind of force you into either being hyper aggressive yourself or playing super defensive and playing something middle of the road and maybe allowing your opponent to get away with some greed cheese or something. I mean, you never really know what you're going to get. If you feel like you're the better player, then you probably should be, playing something middle of the road and aggressive at the same time. Apply pressure to your opponent, force them into task switching scenarios that they can't quite handle, while also having to macro back at home while you're forcing interactions can spell disaster. And you usually see a lot more aggression out from the Korean scene if they feel like they are the superior player. But it's hard to do that when your tournament lifeline is at stake and you've got one game from being eliminated. It's easier said than done. So we might be seeing a very orthodox style from both players here.
Looks like Nexus going to be thrown down here on 23. Pretty conservative Nexus from Mini, who's going to push up here and punish the fact that there's no bunker out just yet. Might be able to get an SCV, maybe a Marine kill if he's a little lucky here. Ssak manages to slip by with the Vulture, and second Dragoon is just coming out of the natural right now. So he's actually going to turn that around. That was a slick move from Ssak. Look at that. He faked going over to the third base, and then as the Dragoon started to rotate, he immediately turned around and went back the other direction so that he wouldn't take any damage on that. That was a pretty good move there by Ssak. But, I mean, Ssak usually has some good moves in the early game. We'll see if he can keep this up as time goes on.
Yeah, he's breaking the ankles of that Dragoon just a little bit at the start of the game. And the initial purpose of that first Dragoon is to confirm the CC timing, usually paying a price of admission in the way of like 40 or so shield points to do so. He's actually throwing down the Citadel of Adun there, Saiyan. Mini might be going for some cheeky Dark Templar plays now. Will it just be a straight up Dark Templar on the ground, or will he try and throw down a Robo and do a DT drop in the main? I don't see a Robo just yet, so I'm assuming this is just going to be straight up DTs from Mini, applying a lot of pressure to Ssak. And if Ssak cuts any corners here, tries to be a little bit greedy with his own min-maxing of his build order, could spell a little bit of a disaster for him. He doesn't have the detection or mines to deal with those units, also forcing a bit of attacks now out of Ssak from repairing that bunker.
Looks like some mines are going to be thrown down here behind these Dragoons, but a lot of these are going to be cleaned up here. Oh my gosh, he's actually going to get this. Oh, that's some very good micro from Mini. Clearing out the pathway as well for the DTs to make their way across the map. Is Ssak going to have all the pieces together here? Will he have some detection to deal with this? Because these DTs are coming out soon.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got two Dragoons that will be blocking the choke point here with the pylons to make sure this Vulture doesn't slip into the main. He has laid down some mines in the wake of these Dragoons behind them, but Mini could also circumnavigate those by sending his... tries to poke in at the tank there a little bit. It's a little bit hard to snipe that tank with just 3 Dragoons unless the turret makes a major blunder. So he's going to repair that back up to safety. I think he's got like at least 2 SCVs repairing that bunker, so it won't actually fall anytime soon, and he can put more down onto that to repair if he needs to. Tank now going to be skirmishing with those Dragoons with the arc light cannon, forcing them back to stop having to pay a repair bill right now. But the DTs are out, and the Vulture actually doesn't see the DTs move out in terms of the little glimmer that you would see. It's almost like the film Predator. You can see the shimmer if you're paying attention.
Oh, he sacrifices the Dragoon here. Does Ssak pick up on that? I mean, he faked. Okay, he starts to build a turret. I think he's picking up on it now. Can he actually block this?
Geez.
Oh my gosh. Can he actually keep this turret alive? It's so close. I think the turret goes down here, Xun. And with the turret going down, this is a nightmare for Ssak now.
Yep, it absolutely is. You need to know this is coming preemptively, and he just, scouted it too late here, unfortunately. He's trying to panic throw down additional turrets at either side and try and maybe get a drill onto those DTs and prevent damage from that warp blade, stopping that turret from finishing so he can get a repair. He does actually body block a little bit here. Turret does finish. Now he needs to get a repair onto that as well. More DTs showing up. Tanks in a lot of trouble, though. One of them probably will go down to those Dark Templars. The other one very low HP and will fall as well to those warp blades. There's a couple of there's a mine on the ramp here to try and stop DTs getting there. Oh, beautiful snipe there from Mini, taking down the mine as it sprouts out from the ground. There are some turrets, though, in the main base. We shouldn't get too much accomplished with those, but already taking a bit of a beating is Ssak from this early DT play while Mini's expanding.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage, boys. I mean, there is still a potential here for Ssak. Maybe he can come back, but oh, it's not even over yet. Look at how many DTs that Mini is just gonna... He's just gonna keep making DTs. You've got to be kidding me. Is he gonna get the turret? Well, there's a second turret right beside, so... I guess that doesn't really matter. With 2 turrets there, Sakk's gonna be okay. That's a little bit wasteful now for Mini.
Yeah, if Ssak can get a little bit of timing together now, maybe he can make something work. Like, it'll be a long time coming until he can actually like throw a massive timing attack Mini's way, but I mean, this isn't too bad. Like, he's kind of even on supply. He's not too far behind the curve. He's teching up. He's getting a starport. He might have a potent enough 2-1 timing in this game still if he can't get like something like a 5-7 tank push rolling out. He did kill all of those tanks with those DTs, unfortunately, so he doesn't have any of the usual early timings to do against Mini, but he can still tech up, get that 2-1 upgrades rolling on, and might have a pretty strong mid game still.
Yeah, there's that potential. I mean, I thought that Ssak was just gonna straight up die when that turret died, man. It's such a hard position to recover from, but the panic turret throwing that down, I mean, he managed to make it work with a little bit of good SCV control, some drilling there. With proper drilling, anything is possible. So he manages to hold. And now, I mean, Mini's on the back foot a little bit. Are we going to see an Arbiter follow-up from here? Or does he want to go into just Storm and a bunch of shuttles, try to play that out in more scrappy fashion? A little bit curious here as to what that's going to be. That Ssak actually throws down a science facility, so he is going to kind of batten down the hatches here for a little bit, look for a bit of a later timing, not just a straight up 5-fact. Looks like he might be looking for a 2-1 timing, try to get a third base online before then.
Yeah, I thought that would make the most sense from Ssak going for a 2-1 timing. Considering he lost that many tanks early on, it's a little bit risky to try anything earlier against that amount of gateways that Mini is producing out of right now. Makes way more sense. Hasn't got a dropship loaded up, though, with some vultures. Could apply pressure to Mini. I think he's got a few Dragoons nearby to intercept, but he's trying to distract him a little bit while he's on cleanup duty, killing some of these minefields out on the map. He might not respond quickly enough with these Dragoons to stop a lot of falling. 2 dropped out into the natural. Some more will be unloaded into the main as well. He sees the High Templars in production from Mini, so that's some good scouting information as well. Target firing down some of these probes with shift commands as well. He might scoop up this vulture to save it and just maintain this threat for as long as possible. It looks like he might kill this dropship on the exit though.
Ooh, he's getting a lot of damage on that. Oh, he doesn't get the last hit. That's crazy. Even gonna come back in for another probe kill. 2 more? You've got to be kidding me. All right, Ssak. Oh, yeah. He loses the dropship, but Ssak making this into a real game now. He's actually doing quite well, and he is going to have the potential for a good 2-1 timing. Should be able to move forward here to try and take a third base in not too long. That's a lot of Storm, though. Mini with this very early Templar archives already probably having Storm finished. He is really going to have a lot of splash damage to work with if he wants to try and bust Ssak as he's taking this third base.
Yeah, he doesn't need to use these storms to drop Ssak and kill his SCVs. I mean, he could do a play like that, but it'd be probably more efficient and giving him more value to use them to cripple the army of Ssak when he does finally go for that timing push. Vulture killing a probe here at the 12 o'clock, because I'm not really accomplishing too much, but Mini's expanding already up into 4 bases at a pretty reasonable timing. This isn't greedy or anything. You kind of should be taking a 4th base by about the 11-minute mark at the latest to kind of try and stay on curve with the Terran. And yeah, I mean, eventually now Ssak will start to snake out onto the map, see if he can get over to maybe one of these 3rd bases. He did go straight into 4 factory after scanning those gateways, so he's maybe got a little bit more meat on the bone than usual, but not as much as if he'd gone straight up for 5 factories.
Some probes here making a transfer. Oh, Ssak gonna catch a few of these as well. These are a lot of good moves. Ssak is playing very well right now, and I mean, he's going to get even more probes. You've got to be kidding me. This is fantastic play for him. Getting almost every probe that's transferring over to that 4th base is amazing, and that's really going to harm Mini's chances of busting him here coming up, because he's definitely cranking out a lot of zealots right now and getting ready to potentially shut down this 3rd base that's going to be thrown down here at the bottom center. There's so many mines out here as well, but Ssak needs to inch a little further if he wants to try and defend that bottom center base.
It's a lot of ground to cover, saying he's actually making a couple of rafes to intercept shuttles as well. That could come into great effect soon if he's able to execute controlling them appropriately. You can see him got He's got them stationed here with his front line slightly, so maybe he could pounce on top of that. Oh, beautiful snipes on these High Templars as well. He's got a few of those, as well as those probes, and now it's forcing Mini to be a little bit slower and getting all of his forces together and going for an assault here. Some of the High Templars turning back to the safety of the rally point. He's going to rotate around the map with these Vulture raiding party and see if he can identify more probes to intercept or slow down any additional bases. Mini is going for a 5th base up here in the top right quadrant. Oh, he's actually going to kill some of the observers here with the Wraith. That's nice. Now being able to keep these minefields alive and also making it harder for Mini to come in and engage against this army with that many mines remaining more or less untouched.
Yeah, there's still quite a few observers alive with this army. I think 2 or 3 there floating above the main bulk of Mini's forces. But there are some vultures here. Oh, a mine connection as well. Dude, Ssak is getting a lot of small wins here that's giving him a very good chance to hold this base. We'll have to see this upcoming engage, though, because this could be a game changer.
Oh, there's not a lot of vultures to screen against these zealots on the right-hand side, saying these tanks are pretty exposed. Some more vultures showing up to try and save the day. He might need a D-Matrix. 3-for-1 value trade with the Psionic Storm on those siege tanks. He actually misplaced that storm, I think. The tanks on the right-hand side didn't get stormed. A little bit of misplay there from Mini, unfortunately. D-Matrix comes out to save that tank as well, and he kills the High Templar before he gets the storm off. Mini kind of making a few small mistakes. Now, this could spiral out of control. If he makes any kind of further misplays like this, he could be in trouble. He's going to press the issue regardless, though. Take out that tank on the periphery, force back his other tanks. Good storm dodging, though, from Ssak. He's transferring over SCVs to the 6 o'clock to start mining as well. Mini has not yet got this 5th base online and operational with mining probes, so it's actually not got much saturation at the 4th base either. Maybe Ssak can make this work.
Oh my gosh, Mini is falling apart a little bit here. He's got 2,000 minerals in the bank during that fight, and he's really not got the greatest probe saturation either. I think he's getting a little flustered here. I mean, after that game versus Soma, we saw him throwing his head to the side to side and kind of sighing in the booth, and I don't know if that's kind of come through into this game, but things have not gone well for him, and that attack definitely got shut down hard. Now Ssak has a real potential in this game to get a push going and start to put the pressure on Mini. Will he crack? Well, he's going to go ahead and throw down some storms here. Can he get some big damage on these SCVs? That's some pretty decent damage, but this follow-up storm is where the real damage can happen. Not quite as much as he would like, though. Okay, there's some SCVs making their way into that natural big train of SCVs, but he didn't have the storm to make that work. Another storm here in the main base. My gosh, this is starting to add up. 9 kills on that High Templar, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the most maximum juice there, but it was pretty good. That's definitely on the higher range of the spectrum of how many SCVs were killed for that effort. So did kill a total of like 16 or so workers of Ssak all in all. Definitely taking a little bit out from his engine, siphoning off some of that fuel that Ssak could utilize later on. Has got a 4th base being set up now, the CC landing just over there. Mini trying to press the issue now. Some Zealots bombing out onto these siege tanks. Here comes a preemptive D-Matrix on that forward tank as well, making it hard to storm through these tank lines. A lot of Vultures trying to screen against the flood of Zealots, but there's still a little bit left for Mini to keep pushing the issue right now. As long as you got a few Zealots to tank up these shots, he will keep pushing forward like this. Now he's got no more Zealots left. He has to tuck tail and run with the remnants of his Dragoons. He's not punching through Ssak in the fashion he wants to. He is trading off some of these tanks to keep his hopes alive in this game. Also taking another 6th base here in the top right as well, establishing some gateways for a 2nd rally point to utilize as well. But that forge is not spinning. He's on 0-0-0 upgrades, Saiyan, versus 2-2. He kind of needs to win soon. If he's not getting upgrades against Ssak, he will be outscaled in this game the longer it runs on.
Yeah, those Protoss upgrades are not nearly as impactful as the Terran upgrades, but falling this far behind, it's pretty rough. I mean, he does have the storms to make up that differential a little bit, but if the storms end up getting sniped, this army is going to absolutely melt. That's true, kind of no matter what. Like, you need those tech units to make these fights work. But here, now more than ever, he absolutely needs these storms to do insane damage. He's going for another drop here at the third, and there's one turret, Xun. One turret available to try and shut this down. I'm sensing a lot of damage. Whoa, what was that storm? Oh my goodness. That storm was crazy.
Yeah, Rafe did actually intercept and spot those shuttles coming in, so he was able to preemptively pull back some of the SCVs. Mini, though, doing a 1-2 punch combination, killing some SCVs here at the 4th base location, and probably the CC as well. That's a big pickup for Mini. Finally killing this base is a great consolation prize for him. Loses some Dragoons on the eastern flank, but as long as he macros on all cylinders with these bases that he's got, and after sniping this base from Ssak feels like there's a trigger that has to be pulled now. He has to go on the offensive. He can't just sit back and macro. That might be a losing game. He has 3-2 upgrade advantage to the 0-0-0 of Mini. This is a great timing for Ssak to maybe push out and get a lot done with this. Mini has even a shuttle and a Reaver here to try and slow down the advancements of Ssak, force out a few sieges to slow him down in that center of the board. Finally, Mini with 2 forges. One of them is now spinning, so he will start to catch up in these upgrades, but it's going to be a long time coming until he gets there. Ssak is not slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, Ssak moving over to the top right. Mini hasn't really set up a good rally from the top right. He doesn't have a lot of gateways over there. Like 2,000 minerals in the bank. He should have been able to set up these gateways quite a while ago, so we'd have another rally point to work with, but he's going to come forward here. The Zealots are disappearing really quickly, but the Storms are doing some great work. Can he actually push through this with no Zealots and just a couple of Storms? I don't think it's going to happen. He needs to fall back here and recombine his army, dropping down quite a bit of supply, but he's still got a reasonable advantage. That will disappear, though, if he tries to take another engage here before he's got a lot of Zealots to work with.
He's got a lot of Zealots that have just loaded up into 4 shuttles, saying he's going to try and do some massive Zealot bombs on these tank lines. There's not a lot of Vultures to deal with that and target down the Zealots as they come bombing out. Here comes the shuttles now. I think that's 5 shuttles worth of Zealots and a Reaver. The Reaver's coming out to try and get some good splash damage Scarabs on those tanks. That's a 3-for-1 trade there as well. A great bargain bucket for Mini as he tries to break through these tank lines. Another preemptive D-Matrix trying to hold the line against any kind of storms or splash damage. Mini tuck-tailing and running yet again. Sark's going to leapfrog these tanks forward now. He thinks that there's enough that's been dried up from the utility available to Mini to hold their line. He's only on 120 supply, but that's because he hasn't got that many SCVs right now. Most of that supply is purely in army, but he is starting to dry up on the units that he can field. He needs to come up here and kill this base while he can. There's 4 gateways churning out some units. The defender gets the from the high ground against this attack. Mini starting to clear out the center of the board of those mines, prevent any more reinforcements from Ssak making their way downtown to capitalize on this position, forcing Ssak into a tactical withdraw now to resecure his middle position.
That engagement was pretty horrible for Mini. I mean, he had 4 shuttles and he dropped them all on the same group of tanks. He could have spread those out a little bit better. I'm surprised to see Mini kind of faltering in some of these attacks to such a degree. I really thought he would have a bit of a better performance here, but in the end, he managed to deny the 4th base, and so it's Ssak on 1 base economy. How can you win from a position like this with Mini mining at such a degree? Like, he's got so much. It's a numbers game. Even if you've got upgrades and you've got good positioning, with Mini having this much of an advantage, it's so hard to actually take a win.
I was just about to say he's floating the main CC to that 3rd base natural. We just got that on screen now. But yeah, he's in a little bit of trouble. We need kind of 2 mining bases against Protoss to have a fighting chance long term. He will eventually establish some more mining. Mini, with all of his forces now consolidated on the eastern flank. 5 speed shuttles, yet again sharking, looking for that. One of the shuttles falling before anything occurs, though. Good D-Matrix from Ssak as well. Not a lot of value just yet from those shuttles, but this is the money shot right now. So many tanks going down to the bombs in the back line. Can Mini go deep? He's got 1-1 upgrades on these Protoss forces. Needs to be careful. That Terran position down there, that was a great position and setup. And look at that, it's a double expansion now from Ssak. He's got another base down here. So if Ssak can hold the lines, split the map in half like this on the horizontal axis, saying slowly but surely, Ssak could end up being the victor in this game here if Mini's not able to leverage another attack warpath, stopping this base on the left from mining unprotected.
Now, what am I looking at right now? I've seen about 3 or 4 Reavers get dropped and just die instantly. He's using them like bombs. Like, why are we using Reavers to bomb tanks in this position? He needs these Reavers to do massive damage to the vultures from the periphery, but he's just dropping them right on top of stuff, and it's just not going well. Every time he's engaging, he's having a hard time taking good value trades. So this is great. Getting over here to the 4th base, kind of shutting down this mining is fantastic. And I mean, Ssak is just content to keep on sending SCVs over here and keep on sending the same, or sending CCs to this location without any defenses. It's kind of funny to see. Mini gonna rotate around and try to harass this last base because Ssak is about to mine out over at that 6 o'clock. He needs this base we see on screen now, and I mean, he's gonna try and get some good storms here. Could get a lot of damage.
Yeah, this is one of the features of this map. It's kind of like Polypoid, where you can storm from the main base in those quadrants. Needs to be careful. Another follow-up drop here from Mini. Doesn't quite find as many SCVs as he was like, but he is denying a little bit of mining time here. Ssak is really dried up. Mini is maxed out and has a little bit of a bank to work with as well. So forcing Ssak to be this dry right now is a problem. Archon morphing in. Needs to send down some units to clear that out before it finishes morphing. These tanks a little bit exposed as well. What are you doing, Ssak? You need to get these tanks back to safety. A few of them might go down for free if he's not careful. Looks like some vultures are nearby to come and save the day. Mini still powering on 3 base economy. Another 4th base about to be mining now as well. So yeah, 4 bases economy to just the 2 of Ssak, since he's not actually mining at that 6 o'clock. He's just now transferring those SCVs back over. If he can somehow hold the line, split the map in half, he can turn this into a winning game slowly but surely. But Mini relentless in assaulting these mineral lines. Here comes another storm drop at that natural 3rd in the bottom right quadrant, killing so many SCVs, San.
Finally, no response there from Ssak. He's been great at pulling the SCVs pretty much every time that Mini comes in to try and get some damage, but this time he's gonna find a lot of SCV kills, and Ssak is sitting here on just 124 supply. Look at all the tanks in the middle of the map here, Ssak.
Yeah.
I mean, where's the rest of the army right now? He's moving through the middle with just pure tank. If there was a bunch of storms here and the army was in position, Mini could absolutely run this over, and Ssak would be, going home with a big frown on his face, because he still could win this game if he plays it out correctly. He's got to keep his army together, though, and he also has to defend these bases. Oh my god, that CC is so low.
Yeah, that was a monstrous mine connection just a moment ago, softening up like 8 units. So massive storms, though, on the 6 o'clock mineral line yet again. 7 kills on that Templar that just launched his spell. Now, though, Ssak looking for finally some damage. He is killing the probe line in that natural in the top right. He might be able to knock out that next as well. Needs to turn around some of his army, though, to go back home and defend. There are some tanks finally defending this natural 3rd location on the left-hand side. Mini trying to bomb in here now with some additional Zealots. There's some tanks unsieged that will be better at fighting against those drops. Zealots has got his army turning around to come and save the day. No Psionic Storms to kill that entire worker line. Nexus might be saved here in the natural in the top right. I'm not quite sure. It looks like he is saving that with a storm, actually. So those vultures not going to be successful in killing that Nexus. But Ssak will be rolling down to this 9 o'clock to knock out the other Nexus that's just coming online. Mini, though, again, relentless with the storm drops, killing so many SCVs, and they are being weakened over time. So even if they don't die right away, the follow-up storm drops will kill them easier and easier the more efforts that Mini goes for.
Mini not mining a whole lot right now. He's still got 12 and he's got top right, but he's starting to run a little bit dry. He is going to get down here, though, and shut down this 6 o'clock base. There's only going to be that one mining base for Ssak. At this point, it's basically over 100 supply for Ssak.
Yeah.
It's I mean, this was some real slop. This rivals actually the shuttle versus Ssak game we saw in the qualifiers, but it seems like Mini's gonna win this time.
It's a shame because I actually thought Ssak had a strong chance at beating Mini in this game at quite a few junctions. He's just not been able to find it. He's had 3-2 upgrades versus 0-0 for a while. Couldn't find the window to punish Mini then. He's been relentlessly assaulted, leaving some of his bases a little bit undefended. Some of the SCV transfers and saving and storm dodges have been pretty good from him, but he's not actually accomplishing many of his goals. He's siphoned off a little bit of the mining bases of Mini, taking out the natural third in the top right, and that 9 o'clock base where Grey killed some of the workers in the natural as well with those vultures. But besides that, hasn't really accomplished a whole lot. Mini eclipsing him in supply, doubling his supply. In fact, right now, finally, these tanks starting to roll on out a little bit to the center map. But he's kind of hooing and hawing with this army, unsure of what to do with himself right now. Not that many SCVs mining at all. I think literally like 12 to 15 SCVs total on the map right now. That's why his supply is so low. Most of it is pretty much pure army, but it's still not going to be enough to deal with Mini for much longer.
Yeah, Mini is denied Ssak the big frontal engagement that he has been hoping for this whole game, and yeah, Ssak is kind of lost here in the middle of the map. He's going back and forth. He's not securing additional bases. He doesn't really have SCVs to make use of those bases anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter that he's not getting those extra bases online. Pretty good D-Matrix there at the front, but I'm just going to go around this and deny any extra CCs that might be coming out. Yeah, here's a floating CC there. We'll take that. Just going to go ahead and finish that off and maybe go into the natural. Start to kill some of these rallies as well and shut down even more mining for Ssak. Prevent him from having any opportunity to come back in this game. Bringing all the tanks forward here. He's finally taking a bit of a fight, but here comes the big storms on the back line. Double D-Matrix there. Not going to be able to save this fight. It actually might go to Ssak. The fight might go to Ssak, but this is too much damage. He's lost so many of his precious tanks. He's spent the whole game building up. And Mini is just going to keep macroing. He's going to remax, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, but the reason why he's winning these fights is because most of that supply is just pure army, like I was saying a few moments ago. So it technically has some punching power, but there's no way he can hold on to the last mining base of his while also launching an assault onto Mini and being too successful. Maybe he can knock out this Nexus. It's already low HP. It's definitely possible he could kill this Nexus here. That's one of the last mining bases of Mini, so it would be a little bit annoying, but he's got a bit of a bank anyway, and more mining bases to choose from. Another natural third going up for him to the right hand side. Here comes another bomb attempt from Mini. Zealots bombing out on top of those siege tanks. That's a pretty big mine connection, denying the Zealots coming in from the left hand side, but there's not enough vultures to screen for these Zealot units on the ground, and they are doing a lot of heavy lifting in these skirmishes. Unfortunately, Ssak slowly but surely dying by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, this game is over, guys. I think this is one that Mini will have to go back over, though, and look and see exactly what went wrong here. He should have been able to play a little bit better than this. I mean, I expect a lot more from him than what we've seen on display here. And if he's going to continue to play like this going forward, I don't think he's making it much farther than the round of 16, if I'm being honest.
Right, yeah, this is not the kind of Mini that we need to see go deep in the tournament, unfortunately. He might not be long for this tournament well, but it is what it is. Maybe he can get it himself together, get his mind back into fighting condition. He did seem a little bit tilted against that game against Soma. Maybe that's playing a factor here. I'm not so sure. It's kind of funny how Ssak is just chewing away on his gum this entire time. A bit of a devil-may-care attitude no matter what happens in the game. A little bit of a contrast to some of the emotional outbursts we see from Mini in previous games. We'll have to wait and see, though, how these players fare deeper in the tournament. Mini might be coming back strong still. Another storm drop coming down here in this third base. Last bastion of hope for our Terran player. It might not be lasting much longer in this game. There are a couple of D-Matrix trying to buffer against those forces, but unfortunately, he's losing losing so many units that he can't replace, and he has got this 6 o'clock base finally mining, does Ssak. If only he was trading a little bit better, maybe he could have turned this game around, but he's not got that many workers to even mine from these 2 bases right now.
Yeah, he's got this bottom center, but Mini's already identified that. He's moving down into position to shut this out. As soon as that base goes down, that's just about it for Ssak. He is going to be able to pick off maybe this. No, High Templar do survive, and this base is going to be shut out. There it is. GG is called, and Ssak taps out. Mini will go forward here, but he's not happy about it. You can see he's also aware that that was a lot of slop, and he needs to be performing better. This is way below what he's capable of, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was falling over the spaghetti that was pouring out of his pockets in that game, unfortunately. So, and you can see how emotional he is and how frustrated he is with
He looks like he lost.
He knows that's not. Yeah, he looks like he's the losing player. It's kind of funny when you think about it. I mean, in a way, he did lose that game spiritually. I mean, like, that should not have looked like that at all. That should have been a much more dominant victory for him to break into the round of 16 with a bit of flair and confidence. But having that much of a struggle against Ssak, like, Ssak is not the best of players, saying, like, you shouldn't struggle this much when you've got that many mining bases and that great a position against him. And Ssak was kind of hooing and hawing with his army movements a lot in that game, giving so many opportunities for Mini to come in and kill that undefended mining base on the natural third in the bottom left quadrant as well. So many opportunities of attack for Mini, and he still struggled to get it done here. That's not necessarily a testament to how good Ssak is playing. It's more of a testament to how sloppy this game was from Mini, not quite finding his footing, getting into his flow state, and executing what he needs to do.
Yeah, this was I don't know if this was the highlight here, but Mini cleared this army with some ease. 91 supply to 146. The writing already on the wall there. But he did manage to finally get some decent bombs on top of these tanks. So many of the bombs I would love to go back and look at when he was just, having all the shuttles together and dropping reavers out to their death. Crazy that Mini was on, like, I can't even imagine he was that tilted, honestly, after that loss versus Soma. He did look very tilted, but I mean, it's just a best of one, and Soma is an incredibly strong player. It was a close game, but I mean, Mini played way below his ability, in my opinion, in this last game.
Yeah, absolutely, Sam. I couldn't have said it better myself. But that's going to be all from this group. Unfortunately, we didn't see as good of a game for that final match. But some of those other matches, especially that Mini versus Soma game, absolute banger of a match. And it was kind of exciting to see the mech play from Ssak against Saber as well. Guys, for this week, we are done, but we will be joining you again in the next week, again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, for that Group D match on Monday. That's going to be Queen, Effort, Calm, and Hyun. The 4 Zerg group of death, saying 2 Zergs guaranteed to be launched out into orbit through to the round of 16, but also means that 2 Zergs will be biting the dust and evening up the scale of how many Zergs will be joining us in the ratio going forward. My money definitely on Queen and Effort there. I think Effort's a better player than Queen overall. I hope his wrist is screwed on tight after he's gotten that fixed up recently. Calm is a genius tier Zerg player. I think he'll have some good strategies, but not necessarily good execution. And Hyun always coming up short in history, and I think we'll see a repeat of that today. But it's Zerg versus Zerg, best of one, so anything can still happen. What an epic, crazy group we've had today. Not really seeing the performance from Mini we would like, but he makes it through nonetheless.
Yeah, he makes it through, and this is what we expected. I'm really looking forward to that Monday cast. Xun, the 4 group, or the 4 Zerg group, is going to be just wild. Getting rid of 2 Zerg players early on here, kind of evening out the overall race distribution, is nice as well. But anything can happen in that group. I mean, effort. I expect him to get through. I expect Queen to get through. But best of ones, Zerg, that's not a group that you want to be placed in. Like, uh, Soul Key is one of those guys. He's so good at avoiding the Zerg groups, but I don't know how this ended up. How the heck did this Zerg group even come to fruition? I guess it's just random chance, but I'm sure that these guys are just cursing their bad luck. Still, it's going to be fun to watch, guys. Don't miss out on that cast. That's going to be a crazy, crazy group on Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Effort's one of my favorite players of all time, man. I'll be a little bit salty, I won't lie, if he doesn't manage to break it through. And it is such a painful way to get knocked out of the tournament. Zerg versus Zerg, best of ones. I mean, that's some of the most craziness, intense action you can possibly have. It might be one of the shortest casts in ASL history as well. It depends. Some of those Zerg versus Zergs can go all the way to Hive, but it's like a 1 in a 10,000 chance of that happening usually. So you probably won't see any crazy late game shenanigans, especially if action's not playing. But I mean, it's still possible, but there is a chance that we see a very quick series of events transpire in that series of games just because of the mirror matchup crazy nature of Zerg versus Zerg. I think someone once described it online as like being a knife fight in a phone booth between two monkeys.
Yeah, and there's only one knife. It's gonna be crazy, Shun. Yeah, like you said, very unlikely that we'll end up going to a late game, but there's always that possibility. If not, if we don't get that late game, yes, it will be one of the fastest groups in the round of 24 ever. It'll be wildly fast, one of the fastest ASL days ever.
Yeah.
Just 4 games of ZVZ, you can crank that out in 30 minutes potentially. I mean, with ad breaks, I guess it's going to be a little longer, but I mean, the ad
Yeah.
breaks together might actually be longer than the games themselves. It's potentially possible.
Right. I mean, we'll struggle to stretch that cast out to an hour, but we'll see, guys. Anything can happen. We might see some really epic games where neither player can find an advantage, and we get like 1 or 2 DBZs, which kind of go the distance. We'll see, though. Anything can happen in a game of StarCraft. It really is that hard to call. We won't be seeing anything too insane like 4 pools, but we'll be seeing lots of like 9 pool speeds, 9 pool layers, and 2 hatch all-in-lings, and all kinds of crazy shenanigans. So don't go anywhere, guys, in terms of the scene. Come back on Monday. Join us in that live cast. We do these live over at superlive.com/SCTVEN if you are watching over on YouTube right now. We appreciate the love you guys have been showing us, especially the guys that signed up to our Patreon. We appreciate all of you so much, even if you are just showing up for free to keep an eye on what we're up to and the updates we'll be putting out there. We just appreciate all the love that we've gotten from you guys already so far in this tournament.
Yeah, this is a real honor to be able to bring you guys these casts, and we're really glad that you guys are enjoying them and giving us love in the comments. We read a lot of those comments, and we watch the live stream on StarCastTV if we have time to do so. Guys, we are done for Group C, and we'll see you on Monday. Don't blink or you might miss it. It's going to be a quick one, so we'll see you there.
Thanks, guys.